Welcome into our fan-sided Emmys live stream, our boozy live stream, as you can see from the drinks that we have. I'm Josh Hill, editorial director of fansided.com. This is Shay Corrigan. She's the entertainment editorial director, and we have Alex. And you are video editor and extraordinaire. You just did a Friends video too.
I did,
watched,
big fan.
And it's great. So,
Justice for Ross.
The Emmys.
Well, it's frozen right now. So I'm gonna unfreeze it. I think they can still hear you.
Oh, okay. Well, if you can still hear, and talk about what we're looking forward to tonight, because we're going to see a lot. There's no host. There is lots of stuff that's going to go around. Probably to Game of Thrones, probably to HBO in general, because you have Barry, you have Veep, you have lots of stuff. But Shay, what is the one thing that you're looking forward to tonight from the Emmys?
Oh man, I'm rooting for an upset. I feel like Netflix and Amazon, I'm really high on Fleabag and Russian Doll in the comedy categories, and I feel like something about this year feels like they've got a shot to, like, I know it's Veep's last season, I know Barry is like the successor there, but it seems like, I don't know, I've got a lot of faith and I think it's going to happen.
What about you, Alex?
I'm looking at supporting actress in a comedy. Is it Sion Clifford? She plays Fleabag's older sister. I think,
so good.
To be honest, like, she could take the lead on that. Like, her relationship with her sister, I don't know if you guys have older sisters, but it is
I do.
The most authentic relationship I've ever seen portrayed on TV. I mean, it's like, you love them, you have nothing in common with them. Sometimes you want to rip their hair out, but in the same breath, like, you would die for that person. Like, it's just, it's an unspoken thing, but yeah.
Yeah. How many Emmys do we think Game of Thrones is going to win? Because that's the big question of the night. Because you would argue that with Breaking Bad and The Sopranos, it's one of the three most important shows of the last 20 years. And those shows didn't necessarily win everything. Breaking Bad did, but The Sopranos didn't. What about Game of Thrones tonight?
I think they're good for 5.
5?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think 3 to 5, because I think they're gonna get shut out of acting again. I think they sort of went too big with too many nominees, and it's gonna split some votes. I could see them inexplicably getting writing and directing awards. I feel like they're definitely the long nights going home just for, like, the battle sequence. And unfortunately, like, I would hate to see it, but I could see them getting best drama. So I'm saying 3 to 5.
Hate to see it. What do you want to see win best drama instead?
Ooh, I mean, I would love to see Succession win. Yeah. But I'd be okay with that because I think their second season is going to be the one where I will, like, cape hard for.
Yeah.
Pose would be really nice. Yeah, I think I'm reading Pose or Succession.
Well, interestingly enough, Mad Men, which is a show I didn't mention in the 3, the 4, if you may have Game of Thrones, didn't win Best Drama in its final season. Game of Thrones' 5th season did. So it wouldn't be unheard of if Game of Thrones doesn't win, but you never know. Alex, what about you? How many do you think Game of Thrones is
I don't have a number, but I think it's going to be more than 5. I feel like it's going to be a heavy Game of Thrones night. I am a big fan. The last season, I hated it until I watched it again, and now I feel like it actually ended in the perfect way. So I do feel like it takes home a lot, so.
Yeah. Well, it only needs 3 more, I believe, to set a record that it already holds for the most wins in a single season, which is currently at 12. It picked up 10 awards at the Creative Arts Emmys last weekend, so it really just needs 3 to sort of beat its own record, which I think they've got that unlocked.
We'll see. What is it? SNL has the record? Somebody has the record.
Oh, yeah. SNL has
the record. Does that count,
but
though?
Yeah, it's like 32.
They've been on forever.
44 seasons.
What are we even talking about?
If you don't have the record for most Emmys when you've been on the air for 44 years.
That's a problem.
Yeah, you should be on the air for 44 years.
Okay, do we want to talk about our drinks?
We do. Let's. These are berry-inspired drinks, since we were talking about berry before. It's called let me get this right, a Buka Berry Summer. The berry is spelled like the fruit, but, read into it as you will. It features Seagram's extra smooth vodka, mixed berry syrup, and topped off with some kombucha.
Ooh, this is going to be a good stream.
Yeah.
So, good drink.
Right?
Somewhat healthy with the kombucha.
Sure, yeah.
Yep. It's like when you get a little bit of salad with your pizza. You're like, yeah, sure, this will do it. I got spinach on my deep dish.
When you're really just adding calories.
Okay, so going down some of these other categories that we have, comedy is another interesting one because it's Game of Thrones prom, essentially, because everybody's celebrating Game of Thrones, but Veep is also being celebrated tonight, too.
Yes.
Is it going to win Best Comedy?
I think so. I think
Yeah.
its final season was good enough and satisfying enough and felt true to the show in a way that the Academy will recognize. Especially because almost all the other nominees, with the exception of Fleabag, which is in a little bit of like a middle ambiguous territory, they're all going to be back. Like, there's no sort of sense that the other shows are on their sort of like last shot, which I don't really think is the way that you should vote. I think you should vote for like the best show regardless.
Yeah.
But I could see this being an easy one for them.
What about you, Alex?
I didn't put Veep.
No?
Probably because I haven't seen it.
That's fair. That's what I would hope voters would do. Like, I haven't seen this, so why would I vote
has
for it?
anyone seen every single one of these? I'd be impressed to see if there's somebody out there who's made the effort. But no, I put Fleabag for best comedy. Mostly just aspirational. I really hope it gets the recognition it deserves. So
Yeah, that's what I put too, Fleabag. I feel like it's got the momentum to it. I definitely feel if this was the Golden Globes, we'd be having a different conversation about Fleabag's chances of winning.
Yep.
I don't know if the Emmys is on the same track as far as thinking that way, but we'll see. I do have Fleabag as well, though, even though I do think that Veep will win. What about Best Actor in a Drama? Because this is the first acting category that Game of Thrones I don't think is going to win. Shay doesn't think is going to win. Alex, do you think?
I did not put
No?
Kit. I just don't find him as a great actor. If this ever gets out to him, oh my gosh, like I will die.
He's watching right now.
I love you, but
sorry,
no.
Kit.
No, I did a little check mark next to Milo there.
Yeah, I've got to go Billy Porter. I am embarrassingly behind on Pose, but it sounds like based on sort of like buzz and reception and all that, like it's not even gonna be close.
No, nobody can play that role except Billy Porter. And I feel like that's what you have to recognize when you're handing out an acting award is like, look, if you take this actor out of this role, it's not the same thing. And that could be true of like, Better Call Saul. If you put another comedian into the Saul character, it's different, but it's still kind of Saul. I think with Pose, it's a completely different thing.
I do feel a little bit for Bob Odenkirk and the Better Call Saul cast generally, because they've always been, I feel like that's the show that I hear about as the best show that no one's watching.
Oh, yeah.
And like this almost could have been the year where I don't necessarily agree with this characterization, but it's kind of considered that it's a weak year for drama, so it could have been, Better Call Saul's chance to sort of like sneak in and like pick up some hardware, and I just don't think it's gonna happen.
Do you think next year could be the year? Because Game of Thrones won't be in the conversation, but Succession will be.
Yeah, next year, I feel like that's got Jeremy Strong written all over it.
Ooh, I like that, Jeremy Strong. All right, we're underway at the Emmys. Here we go. We have no host, but we're gonna have a glorious opening act here. Yes, of course, Homer Simpson starts it.
Oh no, I'm with
When
you.
you think of peak television, you think of The Simpsons.
Pass.
I'm so upset about The Simpsons winning over BoJack Horseman. I will never get over that.
I was never allowed to watch Simpsons as a kid. Oh, there's my girls.
Oh, there we go.
Came in
The Kardashians.
Kendall.
Oh boy.
Thank goodness. I love these over-scripted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
no. I just don't want to cringe all night.
It's just so forced.
is. Oh man.
And we're backstage.
Oh, here we're getting it all. Yep. There we go.
Yep, there's your.
We have our Game of Thrones Starbucks.
Sounds like a horrible SNL skit.
It's
Yeah, it was.
Oh boy.
Feels like the opposite of the Oscars, where I immediately was like, oh yeah, having no host is the way to go.
I know.
And just like,
They're losing them. I don't know. I would have turned off and checked back later at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
All right, keep it moving. Oh.
Yep, there. It also doesn't feel very memorable in any way. Like, you'd think something such elaborate
Yeah.
would be something we would be talking about tomorrow. I feel like we're going to be talking about how we just rushed through this.
Right. No one will remember it, which is fine. Moving along.
Did I miss like the whole Homer Simpson joke? Like, I don't understand. Is there some sort of reason he was up?
Inclusion.
Okay.
And then Fox, I guess. Like
Oh,
Fox,
yes, the
yeah.
Fox connection. There we go. Just why I'm looking for the Malcolm in the Middle connection now, if this is Fox. This is totally skip Breaking Bad and go Bryan Cranston as Hal.
They should have brought him out with Frankie Muniz. That would have been fun. Killer combo.
Oh, Frankie. There's our Better Call Saul crew.
Aw.
I love seeing people out of their characters, but still like hanging out.
Yeah. Why not just start with this?
Yeah.
Right.
But also, this is a very mellow.
Have they gone without a host before? No, right? Not for.
Not recently.
Is this going to be a trend, the no host thing?
Probably.
I wouldn't mind it if this was better.
I mean, this isn't
Yeah.
saving time, is it?
No, and it's
This is why the Emmys are like 4 hours long.
and like you save time in the middle when you don't have them coming out and doing things, but just was Maniac nominated for anything? I mean, it must have been
It must have been.
if they're including it in the montage.
Well, this is also a nice way too to kind of
Such
like
a great moment.
honor some of these shows that we know probably won't be honored, but we're like, hey,
Yeah.
peak television. We're celebrating peak television. And you could argue the end of an era in peak television with the end of Game of Thrones and Veep, so
Yes.
spoiler alert to anybody watching the stream if you've never seen Game of Thrones, but it's how the Night King dies.
All right. Miranda
Here we
categories.
go.
Let's get this going.
Ben
That was so
Stiller.
unnecessary.
Yep.
Nothing like a great film actor to introduce a bunch of television awards.
But he wasn't in Escape at Dannemora, right? Or did he produce it?
I think so, yeah.
So he's dabbled into TV. Oh, jeez.
There we go.
More product placement. Madame Cousteau.
Right? Brought to you by.
Yeah, if you're looking to have your night creeped up by some wax figures at the Emmys.
So many questions.
These aren't even the good ones.
ones. Oh,
Well,
all right, we're back.
That's a real guy.
Oh, okay. I see what they're doing.
yeah, we kind of all knew that this was leading here.
Oh, wow, Bradley Whitford. Thrilled about that.
I did have to Google to confirm that Bob Newhart was in fact not dead. I was like, wait a second, this is getting really dark.
You have a story up on that?
All right. What do we think about this opening so far? Because we are dragging along.
Slow.
It is plotting.
At least give us a category first.
Yeah. Slow, not particularly funny.
Yeah, it's...
Not sticking the landing.
We're talking about Legends of Comedy here, and it's just...
That's a swing and a miss when you're talking about the Legends of Comedy, and we're like, okay, and what's next?
brutal.
Okay, we're doing it.
Up.
Supporting
Here
actor.
we go.
Yes,
All right.
He is so
Let's get
funny.
this in. Who wins the category here? We're doing Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy.
I think it's Tony Hill, but I want it to be Anthony Carrigan.
I put Henry Winkler because I think it's bad juju to vote against Henry Winkler.
Never vote against the Fonz.
There he
That is
is.
fantastic advice from Alex.
He is phenomenal and very.
Yeah.
And Alan Arkin, The Kaminsky Method, which is a show I've never watched, but I've always been like, maybe we should get around to watching
That
that.
was the show that last year's Emmys introduced to people. It was like, oh, no one had ever heard of it before.
Yeah.
I was under the impression it was a miniseries. I was like, oops, missed this one. Tony Shalhoub, that's my pick, but we'll see. So we've got
Oh, yeah.
3 different picks here for best, and none of us picked Tony Hill for Veep.
Well, that's my smart pick, but I'm going with my heart.
It's true, always go with your heart.
Go with
Julia
your heart.
Louis-Dreyfus, I think, is our winner for Veep if we're talking acting categories, but... All right, come on, Bob. Oh. There we go. This
Nice.
All right, so
no inside information from me, but there we go. 1 for 1.
Josh is on the board.
On the board, 1 for 1.
Good for you.
The Marvelous Miss Maisel. What do we think about The Marvelous Miss Maisel in terms of its standing within the comedy now? It seems like it flies under the radar as far as being a pillar, but everybody talks about it, and it wins awards.
really wanted to like this show,
No?
and I find her character, as she would say, incorrigible. I would not like her if I knew her in person. And it's nothing against the actress, it's just the character. I just would.
I'm
Yeah.
so glad you said that. 'Cause I immensely enjoyed the first season, and then I could not stand the second. And it was just, she was just
Yes.
grating and unbearable, and it ruined. I thought about like watching it on mute just so I could watch like the fashion of the clothes.
Yes.
Like I do love the design. But yeah.
Good, it's
no,
not just me.
And I think
Oop.
people love it.
We still have
know.
3 more acting potential
I
winners
know.
here with Rachel Brosnahan, who's won before, and then
She's-
Alex Borenstein and
She's got
Maren
that
Hinkle.
situation where, you know, it's a credit to her acting that I hate the character so much.
Yes.
And I hate the character.
It's a shame. Maybe my expectations were too high, but I really don't think that's it, because I do think the show's very well done. It's just her character
Yeah.
that I want to throw through a wall.
So it's
I
safe to
do
say.
like him though.
Yes.
Yeah. We've got 3 different decades of dominance for Tony Shalhoub, too.
Yeah.
Wings in the 90s, we got Monk in the 2000s, and now he's found his way into The Marvelous Miss Maisel. And we have our first...
Streaming service too, keeping with the times.
He's just... Tony Shalhoub knows. He of Galaxy Quest fame.
Galaxy Quest, great movie.
Throwback.
All right, so that's our first winner of the night. Hard to say we've had any surprises when you have 1 award, but...
Yeah. That's okay. I'm okay with this. Didn't pick
yeah,
them, but I'm
so
okay
far
with
so
it.
good.
Man.
Oh, here we go.
So we don't have a host, but we have a
We
commentator.
have our commentator.
It's a good loophole.
It's yeah,
Is this-
it's something.
Meant to be informational or comedy? I was not listening to what he was saying. I'm not sure if it's actually supposed to be practical here.
Okay, here we go.
Yet another streaming service everyone
Our
needs
Disney
to sign
Plus
up for.
streaming service. I do feel a little bad knowing that I'm going to absolutely spend a lot of money on these streaming services, specifically Disney Plus, because it just seems to have so many things that you actually want to watch.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a requirement.
Because we've got the Star Wars show coming on there, we've got the Marvel shows coming. How do we feel about the Marvel shows? Because we're going to be having the Marvel Endgame Oscar conversation, and we always have the superhero conversation. But now with Disney Plus, we could be having an Emmy conversation with, you know, the Loki show or Captain America and Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier, which I have questions about. I thought he was Captain America at the end of Endgame, and now he's Falcon still. But
I think we're years away from the superheroes taking a serious turn into Emmy territory.
Yeah.
It's going to be a while.
And I think, I mean, that gets at like a bigger problem, not problem with TV, but like identity crisis with TV, where it's like, you look at the comedy category and nobody knows what to do with like dramedies, nobody knows how to define all these shows that sort of deal with so many different like tones, like to their credit. And so I think you throw like a superhero show on there, and is it a drama because it's like mostly serious, or is it a comedy because it's superheroes? And like, what do you do with that? How do you do that? I think you could look a little bit to the Golden Globes where they have that like comedy musical category. But I believe Black Panther was up in the just like the drama one.
I think so.
Like the serious one.
I feel like we're at a turning point for a lot of award shows as far as categories go. I mean, everything is too cut and dry. Even the actor-actress categories are going to become very antiquated at some point.
Absolutely.
So we're going to have to take and like just like the way that the TV shows are sent out to the world, like streaming services and Netflix and dropping all the episodes at once. Like there's just, it's just different than it used to be. And we're still using the same format as we've been using all these years. So.
Yeah, I am looking forward, speaking of the Golden Globes, looking forward to Hustlers being nominated in the comedy and musical category. That's going to be fun. But the supporting actress category is both. So when J-Lo does and eventually wins her Golden Globe.
And her Oscar.
And her Oscar. It's all coming. So what is the most exciting thing that we're looking forward to here? Marvelous Miss Maisel, even though we appreciate it for its art. Up and coming shows like Succession, what are we looking forward to? What one thing needs to happen for you to say, you know what, that was a good Emmys?
It's a good question.
Because for me, Billy Porter, very high on my list. That has been, his stock has been rising tremendously for me as far as wanting to see that moment happen. Also, please inject that acceptance speech into my veins because it's going to be amazing.
It'll be, and I for one haven't seen what he's wearing tonight yet either, and he always dresses so well.
Yes.
So that will be awesome.
Looking back over this, I can't believe I didn't pick Christina Applegate for Best Actress Comedy because Dead to Me is one of those that flew under the radar, I think, for a long time. And I think she was just phenomenal in that. But I mean, this category is so tough. Yeah. The Best Actress in a Comedy.
The comedy is all sort of four of those, or five, I guess. Not even getting into writing, are incredibly strong this year.
And Christina Applegate won Friends' only Emmy in its last season because she had a guest appearance.
Really?
So,
That's a fun fact.
So there you go. There you go. Also, speaking of writing, I hope that Game of Thrones doesn't win the writing Emmy.
Yeah.
Directing, yes. Even though everybody made fun of the long night because you couldn't see anything happening, but it was well directed. All of those battles episodes, very well directed. So writing.
Doing this again.
Here we go. This is your reminder of if there's a show on Fox, you're going to know about it by the end of the night.
Is Family Guy still making new episodes?
Yeah.
Really?
It is. Even though American Dad was the superior show, but it's a TBS production now, so I don't think we're going to be hearing much out of them tonight. All right, here we go. Things moving along. Ooh, we have
Amy Poehler.
Amy Poehler.
Are they wearing matching?
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Not quite.
Oh,
That's a bold choice.
so there we go with Amy Poehler. And Catherine O'Hara, too.
Give Amy Poehler a partner, and then they just trade off words. Like, I feel like that's the same routine that she and Tina Fey would do.
I know, it always feels weird to me when she comes out and she's not with Tina Fey.
Yeah.
I'm like, something's missing here. All right.
Love.
Supporting actress in a comedy. I've got Olivia Colman for Fleabag because I want to see the Oscar and I want to see the Emmy in the same year for Olivia Colman.
That would be fun. I gotta go. Again, I'm throwing my ballot out the window. I'm going heart. I'm going Betty Gilpin.
Okay.
I put Alex Borstein because as much as I can't stand Midge's character, I feel like if I was around in the 1950s, I would be her.
The hair episode, like the whole sequence was so the speech that Phoebe Bridge gives about the importance of the hair.
Yes.
It's like, oh my god.
Betty Gilpin in Glow was pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm glad this was kind of like a coming out season for her as far as everybody appreciating A, the show, and B, her.
Yeah.
So that was kind of nice.
She's been nominated 6 times, maybe?
I think so.
Like that.
And so far, Tony Hale, he lost for Veep, so 0 for 1 Veep in the Emmys so far tonight. Kate McKinnon, as usual, exceptional on Saturday Night Live. The best thing on Saturday Night Live right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, here we go. All three of us had different picks for this one.
Here we go.
And Alex got it right.
Hey.
Alex Bornstein. There with Seth MacFarlane.
I put her as the second one from Fleabag.
Okay, a second choice.
Yeah.
All right, so Veep, 0 for 2. Marvelous Maisel, 2 for 2.
2 for 2. Big night for Marvelous Miss Maisel.
It happened
Already.
last year as well. The Emmys are their show. Maybe just award shows are their show. They do very well.
They do, and we still have Rachel Brosnahan is up for Best Actress in a Comedy, and the show itself is up for Best Comedy. Out has not worked. No awards for it so far. It hasn't been able to shut out Marvelous Miss Maisel, or unfortunately Fleabag not winning much, but
It's all right. There's still time.
all right, we have what I say is a pretty good acceptance speech so far. Tony Shalhoub had a pretty good one too to start, and then we move nicely into Alex Bornstein.
She makes the whole show. Like, she's the reason I kept watching. The Nonconformist.
And like you
But
said,
also, I would like a show just about her.
Yeah.
Give me a season that's mostly just about her life. Like, it seems infinitely more interesting.
I agree. It's just a constant reminder when you watch that show of like how tough life would have been. I was watching it with my boyfriend. I'm like, when she went to bed all dolled up and then waited till her husband fell asleep and then went to the bathroom and did all the things. He's like, what is this? I'm like, you don't know what went on back then?
Right? Just expect it.
all right,
Oh, man.
we got Nick Cannon coming out. Ken Jeong.
Oh, here we go
The
again.
Masked Singer, in case you didn't remember that this was a Fox show and that Ken Jeong was a part of it. You would think that the show would be shorter because you wouldn't have to deal with so many commercial breaks because they're just baking in all of these commercials. It's like the Truman Show where we're just kind of having a commercial that you don't know is a commercial.
They should do a remake of the Truman Show. I would love to watch a modern day
That
take.
would be good. A social media age Truman
really
Show.
Interesting.
Okay, here we go. Yes. The Emmys really going for the younger audience here with the TikTok references.
Yikes, yeah.
They're like, we see you and your old audience, Oscars, and we raise you, social media. We don't have to have a host either, and we can be more interesting.
I mean, there's still time for them to sort of salvage this, but
It's tough.
I think like the Oscars, it felt like it moved swiftly. They had good presenters, they like had good bits, but it moved it along. They're doing like a variety show in the award show, and
Yeah, this is a tough beat. Also, the bits just don't work. Like, they're not tight. It seems like we're just kind of flying
never
off the
does.
cuff.
Jones was great though.
On the plus side.
Oh boy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is.
It's like they need someone in the room to be like, what are we going to do? Okay, great, that's going to do it, and then we're going to cut it in half, and that's what you're actually going to do.
Ken Jeong hasn't really worked for me so Community.
No.
He was like the perfect level of being on that show.
Yeah. It's a very specific shtick.
Right?
It is.
Shout out to him for keep getting work. Like,
He's finding
well
work.
done, man.
That's
Well
for
done.
sure.
Good for your manager.
Right. But I just.
And talking about a tough beat, rewatching The Hangover and his character in The Hangover, not aged very well. All right, here we go. Writing. Our writing in a comedy. Where are we going with this one? We didn't have it on our ballot, but we have it in our
I'm
hearts.
gonna make a choice right now.
I'm
Ooh,
gonna
the
go
Janets.
Fleabag, Phoebe Waller-Bridge. But
Pen 15. Pen 15 is a real good show.
Oh man.
This would be a nice one, a nice
Not
honor for Pen
felt.
15. Russian Doll is another. This is a tough category.
Yeah.
I'm locking it in with Pen 15.
I'm gonna agree with you.
I'm gonna go Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
I would not be
Fleabag.
upset with the Fleabag. A Fleabag go there.
Pen 15 is
would
just
be
so
great.
painfully
Oh
awkward.
my god.
And
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
and Fleabag gets
Didn't
the
see
win.
that coming. Good for her.
Anybody who was watching the stream behind us could see that it was coming because the television was about 30 seconds ahead of where we're at. But this is great because we kind of
Oh, I
figured
like the
that
dress as well.
Fleabag isn't going to get honored with Best Comedy. It's probably not going to win the acting categories. But if you think about it, it is an incredibly well-written show.
Yeah.
So to have that
And
honor.
the first episode that she just won for was the one with that like, dinner scene that's just incredibly good.
Yeah, and if Fleabag was going to win, Phoebe Waller-Bridge being up there is exactly what I would want it to be. And another
So happy for her.
great speech that we have going on. So we do think that Fleabag next year is going to have a big year at the Emmys.
Hope so.
Oh no, this
No?
is it.
This is it?
Yeah, she said that she's not doing 2 seasons and we're done.
This makes me sad.
Which is why like it wasn't like their final season, but it's basically considered to be.
Considered to be, so we could at some point maybe bring it back.
Right.
That's
But
devastating.
it was like 2 or 3 years between
Yeah.
1 and 2.
Alex, did you know this?
I did not.
Neither did I, so
And I
Shay's
did-
breaking our hearts
I did a lot
on a
of
live
Googling.
stream.
In real time.
After I finished watching it, I was like, did we ever learn her first name? And I'm like Googling, like, no, we didn't.
Like none of the characters have names. Like, It's
Yeah.
just like the hot priest. And
I was gonna say, Fleabag is one of the incredible experiences of the summer where it is. I'm always fascinated about how we're gonna market movies in the future as far as social media is concerned. Like Hustlers was sold on Instagram. That was, it's a very Instagram movie.
Right.
And you go and it's a fantastic film. Hit its peak with The Hot Priest, and that's trending all over the place, and it's a big thing, and it's a moment, so
Yeah.
good for Fleabag. So we have, what is this?
I don't know, but I'm into it.
Ooh,
Oh,
The Politician on Netflix.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's always a nice flex to, in the middle of the Emmys, be like, and by the way, our TV show is
Yeah.
coming on next year or next
FYI.
month. So it's like when the Irishman trailer dropped during the Oscars, and we're like, not only is it a movie,
Iconic.
but it is a Netflix film. So Steven Spielberg, watch out. Your
I was just
feelings
gonna
may
say-
be hurt by this.
Alright, so clearly, so far, all the awards have gone to Amazon shows.
Yes,
Oh.
streaming services.
Yep. Not just streaming services, like.
And Amazon itself. But
Amazon specifically.
where's our first network television win going to be?
Well, I mean,
If we're taking
define
Game of
network.
Thrones out of it, because Game of Thrones is obviously going to win something. Is there something other than Game of Thrones that's not on a streaming service
Okay.
that
so
we see is going to
you're
win?
like including like premium cable.
Yeah.
I don't have anything.
Which is tough because you look at the list, and there's a lot of streaming stuff on
Yeah.
here.
I think it's your boy Billy Porter.
Billy Porter. FX represent. Also, shouts to Robin Wright for the last season of House of Cards. She's not going to win, I don't think, for Best Actress in a Drama, but she brought it in the last season. Last season wasn't good, and there was a whole bunch of stuff outside with the Kevin Spacey stuff that brought down the production of the last season, but Robin Wright takes it over and doesn't let any of that really get in the way. And I don't think she's going to win, but I feel like we need an honorable mention there for her.
Yeah, absolutely.
And taking a look at some of these other categories that we have. We haven't talked about Best Limited Series. And if we're talking about how Fleabag had a moment where it kind of swelled up thanks to word of mouth and social media, Chernobyl was the same way.
Yeah.
Where a couple episodes in, everybody's like, oh, we're all watching Chernobyl. Let's all talk about it. We didn't know each other were watching Chernobyl. Is that going to win Best Limited Series? Because we have a couple of other interesting ones in there.
I think When They See Us might have the edge.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're sort of like neck and neck quality-wise, and I can see voters going for the more sort of socially conscious and like meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
Not meaningful is not the right word, but the the one that has a little bit more of sort of an impact or
impactful.
Speaks to the current moment a little bit more than Chernobyl did. But I think Chernobyl was great. I wanted to like Sharp Objects more than I did. I wanted to like Fosse Verdon more than I did. So yeah, that's where I think it's between. I think when it comes time, I think my vote goes When They See Us.
I did really like When They See Us. I think that Fosse's going to get the win though, just because.
Really?
I do.
I could see Michelle Williams getting the win, or even Sam Rockwell more than the series.
Sam Rockwell was great in that. Which also he could have that could be the springboard for an interesting fall for him, because if he gets recognition for Jojo Rabbit, we could see another Sam Rockwell fall for us, kind of like we saw with 3 Billboards. Trying to look at what other kind of maybe surprises we would have in these acting categories. Supporting actor is interesting because Peter Dinklage seems like he's going to win. That seems like the lock. If there is outside of Best Drama, if Game of Thrones is going to win something, where you want to put your money. Is there anybody else in that category? Because we also have 2 other Game of Thrones actors, Alfie Allen.
I think Alfie Allen would be really nice to see, not only because he had to nominate himself, but because, again, coming in like cold to Game of Thrones, where I started with season 8, it's like he, in his like 2 episodes or whatever it was, he brought it.
Yeah.
Whereas Peter Dinklage just seems like the default for like, season long or series long accomplishment, where it's like Alfie Allen was a bit more specific.
He is just so talented, though. I mean, you gotta give it to him.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I picked.
Which again, to Shay's point about Better Call Saul being the show that we should be talking about, we're not talking about. Jonathan Banks and Giancarlo Esposito both being nominated for characters that they've been nominated for before. Like, this is a small dynasty that they have going as far as Breaking Bad characters are concerned.
All right, we're back.
And here we go.
Presenter for presenters.
It's like the teaser trailer for a teaser trailer.
When they do like the 5 seconds.
All right.
Ronnie Lily was a truly great episode.
A fantastic episode.
Big Bang Theory, no thank you.
No, hard pass. even as a legacy win, I don't think so. Marvelous Miss Maisel, the way that this night has been going, I feel like with 2 nominations in this category.
I'm going Ronnie Lily.
Ronnie, yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay, very interesting.
I like it.
Times are changing.
Oh. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the walk up.
Right.
Nice and fascinating. Our old friend Mike Dice just asked us, what is a flea bag? And I was like, oh man, time to get with the times. Here we go. So, very okay with Fleabag winning.
Absolutely.
2 Emmys tonight so far. We've had 4 categories. 2 for The Marvelous Miss Maisel, 2 for Fleabag. None for Veep. We haven't gotten to the drama yet, so we can't really comment on that. Also none for Barry, which was a darling last year. And more importantly, if we're talking about the overall arching themes of the night, 0 for HBO so far. Yep. And Amazon's having an incredibly great night.
Right? Amazon's got it on lock.
This is gonna blow up, I feel like, Fleabag. I mean, I feel like it's kind of, obviously we all work in the TV realm, so we've watched it, but I've never heard my friends mention it. I've never heard the average passerby, but I feel like after tonight,
it's absolutely been one that I feel like I've been like penetrating people about. Like my friends are like getting there. Like some of them watched it. And
the first
rest
episode
of them heard me tell them to watch it.
The first episode, they're like breaking the fourth wall is something I don't love. I cannot stand it. Deadpool, it drives me nuts. I don't want to watch it. But then I was like, I'm gonna give this a chance, and I'm glad that I did.
But also the payoff of the way the priest like is seeing her break the wall.
I'm like, it's like we're breaking the fifth wall here. Like so much going on.
All right, Maya Rudolph and Ike Barinholtz are coming out here. This is another interesting bit.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's amazing. It's like the 2 people that we all like, and it's bits that we just don't really appreciate. Like I would expect so much more of Ike Barinholtz and Maya Rudolph coming out and doing something together on stage. Like, really?
Do you think they ever push back? I'd be like, hey, we're 2 funny people. Let's not do this. It's embarrassing.
Like,
oh.
Yeah, this is this is a tough one. The Emmys, a show which honors great television, is not itself being great television at the moment.
Everyone just watch Fleabag.
That's true.
Set up a 3rd screen and watch Fleabag. Follow on Twitter.
Yeah.
Listen to our voices.
Here we go. Lead actor in a comedy series. Where are we going with this one? I've got Bill Hader penciled in.
Yeah, I do too. Bill Hader.
Shay, you look like you're not going to agree with us. Where's your heart going? Because you've gone with your heart so far tonight.
My heart says Don Cheadle.
Ooh, Don Cheadle. Okay, I would be very okay with Don Cheadle winning.
But I think it's Bill.
I think so too.
Which I don't mind.
The Good Places last season is next year, correct?
Yes,
that's what will be honored. So that's the Ted Danson year is next year.
Yeah.
For Cheers and everything else that he gave us.
My God, this is still going.
This is tough. At what point do you think that they both know that this isn't working?
Right? As a nominee, I'm like, can you say my name?
Right? Like,
they read the script and they were like, all right, and the check is how big? So, okay, let's do this. Eugene Levy.
I would be, if they
butchered your name as a gist, no.
Especially because like we think of, again, like to your point that like we work in this, like we all know these actors and names and stuff. So like the room gets the jokes. But like a lot of people don't.
Say their name. This is an honor.
I don't like inside jokes I'm not in on.
Right.
All right, and there's Bill Hader has won for Best Actor in a Comedy. No surprises here.
Back to back, he won last year as well.
He did win back to back. Don Cheadle, we'll have to wait. Although Black Monday is a fantastic show, so if you have not checked it out, check it out. Anthony Anderson doesn't win, Eugene Levy doesn't win, Ted Danson will win next year. Michael Douglas he's just there. He's along for the ride in the
Michael
Kaminsky
Douglas
method.
has a storied career. He doesn't need this.
So, Bill Hader. We are talking storied careers too. It comes from SNL. And watching him on SNL 10 years ago, doing bits about the OC with Andy Samberg, nice famous bit.
Iconic.
Did you sit there watching that being like, this guy is going to win multiple Emmys for acting that do not involve Saturday Night Live?
Because he's goofy looking. Yes. Like, he just is.
And the character like works. It's one of those really great character-actor pairings.
Mm-hmm. He is also doing more comedy in this acceptance speech than we saw in the entire introduction to the category.
Oh, that too. I was going to say then on the show. But.
Yeah, and then also Barry, there's thin comedy. Dark comedy.
Barry's a drama and Succession's a comedy.
All right, so there we go. We have our winners so far. Tony Shalhoub is won for Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy. Bill Hader wins for Best Actor in a Comedy. Alex Borstein for Best Supporting Actress. And Fleabag wins for Writing and Directing in a Comedy. So,
amazing.
Any surprises so far?
No, I feel like when I look at this ballot, like I'm not mad at any of the choices.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, that shouldn't be there. Like I'm stoked for all these people.
I'm a little surprised at the Fleabag wins, not because they're not earned, just because I was a little more cynical, I guess.
Yeah.
Same.
But I, you know, as Alex says, I feel great about it.
Yeah.
We still have Best Actress in a Comedy coming up. I think that Julia Louis-Dreyfus is going to win this one, and this is going to be the sole Veep win. As far as like the legacy win, thank you for the glorious run that you went on. Because so far, 0 for 2 in the acting categories and didn't win writing or directing. But she seems like a lock, both because she's great and also kind of her story off the screen as well, beating cancer. And she's also has the whole story with Seinfeld and everything that she's given to television. This is a nice coda to her career.
I would say, just a quick interruption for anyone that got the Marvelous Miss Maisel ad. Coming soon. I would not describe December as soon.
No.
Those of you holding your breath for the next season of Marvelous Miss Maisel, it's in December. But anyways, yeah, I could see it going Julia Louis-Dreyfus for Best Actress and Best Comedy Series.
Okay.
I bet it. I think it gets that final season.
What about you, Alex?
We're on a Fleabag kick now. Now that we've proven that they can do it, I put Phoebe down. So I hope.
Ooh, that would be good.
I would love that.
My even split is Julia Louis-Dreyfus wins this for Veep, and based on the hot Fleabag night that we've been having, I mean,
for Best Comedy Series.
Best Comedy
wouldn't be crazy.
Because like what you were saying, Alex, getting people talking about it and getting into the conversation. Tomorrow we're like, what the hell is Fleabag? And then everybody's watching it because it's won all of these Emmys. It's on its peak, basically at the peak of its powers.
Yeah.
And unfortunately not coming back, as we've learned. Shay, the bearer of bad news.
Sorry, guys. Not my fault.
Shay.
If I could convince her to
Maybe
do
this will change things. Maybe she'll have a change of heart after tonight. I don't know.
She could. Or we could have maybe like a one-off episode, like the Big Mouth Valentine's Day special, where it's like a Christmas special.
Christmas special.
So we could come back. Yeah, the British show is big on their Christmas specials.
Yeah, I wonder how much of a correlation there is between writing and directing, because those are, I think, to like the mass public, considered more minor awards people don't recognize. Or think about writing and directing as much as they think about like actors and actresses.
Yeah.
I wonder, at least as far as it like speaks to like the mentality of the TV Academy, how much of a correlation there is. Like if you pulled up who wins for writing and directing, how often is that forecast who wins Best Series?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Emmys by the numbers.
Right.
Anybody out there?
For any of us with laptops sitting
Send us
across
links. Send us
We
a
think
chart.
of all of our greatest ideas when we can't actually do them ourselves. We're like, darn. So after we get with a Best Actress in a Comedy, we're going to be moving on to the dramas. Of course, we're going to deal with limited series, and we have all of these other things. But the biggest thing that everybody, of course, is going to be talking about tonight is Game of Thrones. We've established that we don't think Game of Thrones is going to clean house the way that a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Let's say that Game of Thrones doesn't win Best Drama. You're in charge of handing that out. Which one would you go on stage, Moonlight La La Land style, and say, Game of Thrones did not win, and you're holding up the card. What do you got on there, Shay?
Got Pose.
Nice. I like it. What about you, Alex?
I would probably say Better Call Saul. I think the following
very
is
good.
loyal.
Yeah.
What a great advertisement for the Breaking Bad movie that's coming out, too. Like, hey.
Is that on Fox?
Oh, it could be. At this rate, we would have heard about it by now. All right, we've got Kimmel and Colbert. Hopefully, we can raise the comedy bar.
I'm nervous.
I am not confident that this is going to happen.
Oh, it's nice to laugh.
And there we go. We have our actual first laugh of the Emmys. And we are about 45 minutes into the show. Multiple bits, multiple performances have come out. Leave it to a couple of late night guys to make us laugh. So there we go with another Colbert and Kimmel.
What?
More Colbert and more
yes.
Kimmel.
I bet you they told him, like, look, we're gonna write our own.
Right. Let us do this.
What's the rehearsal like for this? I mean, with so many stars, there's no way they're all coming on a Tuesday morning to rehearse this.
I think I read a bunch about that.
Awesome.
The Oscars, and I don't remember, but like, part of the reason it's so hard for them to get people to do the hosts is because it requires like so many intensive rehearsals like the week of, and like rewrites and jokes and whatever it is. So it's like very intensive for a short amount of time with like high risk, low reward. And so people don't do it, but
definitely high risk. Say one misstep and you're done.
yeah.
Well, we've had multiple missteps.
Yeah.
So
like, did somebody send these two a thing, or they all didn't come meet in the arena to rehearse this?
no.
Yeah, girl.
Here we go.
All right, I'm changing my vote to Phoebe Waller.
Yeah.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Though I would love if Natasha Lyonne won.
This is the Julia Louis-Dreyfus victory lap.
It is, but can't beat the jumpsuit.
Oh, we have Phoebe Waller-Bridge wins Best Actress in a Comedy. She is as stunned as everybody. Wow. Alex was spot on from the start.
Yeah,
I'm so happy for her. She looks so excited.
This is great.
I also love that like Fiona Shaw and Jodie Comer are also standing up and cheering.
Yeah.
This is so great.
So Fleabag now has 3 Emmy Awards on the night.
Yes.
I don't think that's something any of us saw coming, not because we didn't want it to happen,
Yeah.
because good things never happen to good shows.
It's just the same speech as before.
She wasn't prepared for this many speeches.
Oh, few things have been as relatable. It is always nice when you can tell, not that actors who win aren't genuine people, but Phoebe Waller-Bridge genuinely seems as though she was not expecting this and seems
This
extremely
means-
authentic in this moment washing over her.
Yeah. Aww.
This makes me so happy.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Yeah, you gotta say something for the best
There we
comedy
go.
series.
Oh, I love that.
So there we go. Phoebe Waller-Bridge with, would you say this is our first upset of the night?
Yeah.
I would, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our first upset of the night. She wins Best Actress in a Comedy, beating out Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who I thought was going to win and a lot of people thought would maybe have a victory lap, and also Rachel Brosnahan, who with this kind of ends The Marvelous Miss Maisel's early show push to be the show of the Emmys, as we now have Kim Kardashian
And Kendall.
coming out and Kendall Jenner.
My ladies, hot take, love the Kardashians.
Have they ever won a like reality series Emmy?
Not that I know of. I don't know. I'd have to look into that.
This floral dress, matrix dress thing that
Loving
we got
it.
going on here.
Is she that much taller than Kim?
Probably.
Or are they both just
Kim's tiny.
All right, so we are on to reality shows, which we love to honor at the Emmys.
Usually they save those for later. I wonder if this is because of Fox.
And The Masked Singer. Here we go. The show ends with that.
This has been on for a while, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we got some Top Chef. The Voice, which gets the Taylor Swift boost in the near future.
I really wonder, what is she getting out of that?
Probably the power of reviving a show that doesn't need to be revived in ways that only Taylor Swift can. As RuPaul and RuPaul's Drag Race wins.
Good. Those other ones
They've
were a
won a
joke.
couple times, I think, or at least once before.
This seems unsurprising.
Or
Yeah.
maybe he's won host before. But yeah, you're right. This feels like.
I mean, American Ninja Warrior, no. That's not even.
But if Fox really wanted to lean into The Masked Singer, we could have had the winners of each Emmy come out and they unmask themselves.
Wow, that would be.
If we really wanted to get this trending.
Let's be thankful for what we have here.
I'm not, because RuPaul's reveal for winning the Emmy would have been fantastic. So that would have been worth it. There we go. RuPaul, who just got a star on the Walk of Fame. That's a big thing. So. Also, if you're watching along with us in the stream, we are commenting on the Emmys. We can't show the Emmys because that would be illegal. We can't do that. But you can comment and you can ask us questions. Yes, we don't work for Fox. You haven't seen a commercial for Fansided yet, so you can tell that we're not a part of that. But
We're
if you
not animated. So.
We're not animated. We're not The Simpsons. We don't have an animated show. But if you have a question, or if you have a comment, or if you enjoy something that you're seeing on the Emmys that we would like to talk about, drop it in the chat, and we will get to it, because we have just gotten through the comedy categories. We have the mini-series, the limited series, all of that fun stuff still to go through, and then we get to the dramas, which is the big moment of the night with Game of Thrones. So we're going to be here a while. Drop some questions. We can have some conversations and make some memories.
So this is a unfact-checked piece of trivia from Twitter.
Here we go. I love those.
I think Phoebe Waller-Bridge is the first person to win acting and writing in the same year since Tina Fey did it in 2008.
Wow.
Interesting. Okay.
What an
Excellent company
accolade.
to
That's
keep.
amazing.
So yes, if you are just tuning into our stream, The Marvelous Miss Maisel and Fleabag both having big nights. Amazon is owning the evening, it seems. Last year it was Handmaid's Tale and Hulu. We've seen Netflix and House of Cards have big nights before, which have kind of really established. House of Cards winning was pioneering because it showed that streaming services could be like the HBOs and the NBCs of the world. Yes. Handmaid's Tale winning with Hulu kind of established Hulu. Is this now going to be Amazon is established? Because now we have Disney Plus is coming out, Apple TV is coming out. This is now a third stepchild to Hulu and Amazon. It's having a big night. Is this now we're going to wake up tomorrow and Hulu has become kind of the king of the streaming world?
Amazon.
Or Amazon.
I think so. I mean, I don't know king, because I think Netflix, I mean, time will tell how Netflix weathers the Disney storm of losing all of their sort of bingeable old shows. But I think this is huge for Amazon. It's been huge because right now they're winning with two separate shows, where last year Marvelous Miss Maisel kind of introduced them as like a contender, as like someone that you could take seriously. And this year it's showing that they, at least in the comedy categories, like they've got more than one hit on their hands, and they can currently sort of own, with one exception, they can own the award so far.
Yeah, and drama is something that Amazon not particularly good at, because we've seen the comedies win before, but there's no Jack Ryan for them. And they do have a lot of dramas, but it seems like the comedies is what stands out for Amazon.
I feel like too, for your casual TV watcher, not everybody knows Amazon Prime's doing original content, you know? Like Netflix has sort of picked up on that, but like, I don't think my mom would know that. I don't think, anybody else in her...
People don't think of it as like when you're like, oh, like I'm find something to watch. Like I want to pull up Netflix. I'm
Right.
pull up Hulu. Kind of forgot about Amazon.
You assume they all have the same things going on, but yeah, Amazon will get there.
It's interesting. Homecoming more or less shut out, if not entirely shut out. So when Amazon did try to do drama, it's not that it didn't pan out for them so much as at least it wasn't recognized.
So, prayers up for the Lord of the Rings show that they're producing, because
Oh yeah.
we're going to see in a couple of years if that's going to be a show that can replace Game of Thrones at the Emmys, the way that Amazon is assuming that it will replace Game of Thrones in the
As soon as
marketplace.
you say it, not going to happen.
It's not
But
going to
nobody
happen.
thought Game of Thrones was going to happen either.
Exactly. You never think it does, and then it takes off as soon as you call it as the next big
True.
thing.
What is the next big thing? Because that's going to be. I'm looking at my crystal ball of think pieces that are going to come out tomorrow, and it's going to be X show is the next Game of Thrones, because now we officially have, once the Emmys are done and Game of Thrones is, we no longer have a reason to have a conversation about it. There is a void that opens up where, what is going to fill it? Because with Game of Thrones, it was a domino effect of, The Sopranos ends, but we have Mad Men. And Mad Men, or Breaking Bad ends, we still have Mad Men. And Mad Men ends, we still have Game of Thrones. Now that Game of Thrones ends, what do we have? We have Fleabags, which we can all agree is a great show, but we wouldn't necessarily say is the biggest show in the world. It's not appointment television. Is there a show that you see right now where you can, if you were to say to somebody, they ask you, what is the next Game of Thrones, you would say,
Not right
it's
now.
this.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah, and I think to Alex's point, like Game of Thrones didn't. If you were watching Mad Men and thinking, what's the next Mad Men or the Breaking Bad, like what's the next like anti-hero like led show, the next show that like captured sort of the zeitgeist that way it didn't look for the shows that came before it. And like yes, there is a clearer through line from Sopranos, Mad Men, Breaking Bad than with Game of Thrones, but I think I don't think there's anything that's currently airing that jumps out as like building steam.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, we have Tim Allen on the stage for the right of center crowd.
Yikes.
Last Man Standing, not up for any Emmys tonight, so
Oh, come on.
if you're looking
Weird.
if you're looking for that, you will not
Call
find
that
it.
a snub? What's a snub when it's deserved?
His hands are shaking.
Well, he did a few things in the 70s that
Yeah.
might contribute to that, so.
Catching up.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. Here we go, the accountants. We have our housekeeping. And we have, here we go. Yep.
And they wrote it.
Ugh.
They're like, what
Do you
is.
think those people? I know the answer, not for sure, but I'm pretty confident. Do you think those are actually the same celebrities that are in The Masked Singer? Like they got, like if this was last year, they got T-Pain to come like do the Emmys in costume, or did they just put someone in T-Pain's costume?
Oh, I hope it's T-Pain.
Oh, Seth. I like Seth Meyers.
Yeah.
Seth Meyers, who had a incredible cameo in Late Night, which I watched for the first time the other night.
It's so good.
Great
So
show,
good.
or a great film. Again, also Amazon.
I was gonna
So-
say,
Yes.
shout out to Amazon.
Shouts to Amazon.
Brought to you by Amazon.
It's like, Jeff, if you're listening,
Yeah.
we're helping you here, man. Okay, here we go.
Oh, this is gonna be a nice montage.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones montage.
They look so young.
Babies, baby dragons.
How times have changed.
Josh, did you start watching this when it first came out, or were you a late bloomer?
I was a late bloomer.
Yeah.
I got on around the third season.
Okay.
What about you guys? Did you guys jump on from the start?
No, I was a late bloomer as well. I think it was not till the 5th season.
Oh.
Yeah, that I started. I watched it all in 1 week. I had finished. Best week of my life.
What about you, Shay? Were you a book reader, or did you jump in?
Oh no. So I started watching, I think probably around the time the 3rd season came out, and I watched the first 2, and then I got distracted by my life, and
That happens.
and I never came back to it, and then I watched the 8th season because work called.
I tried to watch the very first episode by myself, like when it first came out, and it scared the daylights out of me because I'm afraid of everything. But the White Walkers first scene, I couldn't do it. I'm like, this show's not for me. But
And we're bringing out the Game of Thrones cast onto the
is
stage.
amazing.
And we are getting a standing ovation from the crowd.
Wow.
Look at that gold blazer.
I was gonna say.
Obsessed.
Well done, Blush.
All right. We also have members.
They didn't get the cut.
We also have members of Game of Thrones in this crowd.
Right? That's a big stage. Why not bring them all up?
Why is Theon Greyjoy up here?
Because he's nominated, probably.
Ugh.
That's true. These are all nominees.
Oh, okay, fine. I'll let it go.
Fine, I guess.
Whatever.
Gwendolyn Christie winning would be fantastic.
Yes,
Yeah.
love
She
her.
also nominated herself. Sophie Turner was my pick to win the Emmys. Not necessarily to win a Emmy, but showing up with Joe Jonas and ripping a
she's
jewel
gonna-
on the red carpet, just living her best
She's gonna
life.
kill the Golden Globe.
Yes.
The Golden Globes are going to be
Golden Globes are gonna be
fantastic.
the moment.
I don't know if I can handle the Golden Globes, peak J-Lo and peak Sophie Turner. This is going to be fantastic.
They're gonna meet. They're gonna.
Oh, worlds collide. So here we go with our first Game of Thrones tribute of the night, you could say.
Yeah.
Bringing out the cast, the nominated cast, to present an award. This is a very interesting dress.
Earrings.
The entire get-up. The gold blazer is really doing it for me, though.
Yeah.
This is a strong play.
Is that like dragon?
It's like the gold hand and everything. He's got a lot going on there.
Is that a nod? Oh, she would be amazing.
Yes. So we've got supporting actress in a limited series or movie. Will Chernobyl win its first Emmy of the night?
I picked Chernobyl, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any of these.
When They See Us was fantastic. And I feel like it flew under the radar more than it should have. Margaret Qualley is having an incredible summer.
Yeah, quite the year. I never saw that, even though by all rights it's a show that I should have enjoyed. Which I think maybe speaks to the fact that I always forget about Hulu.
Oh, and we have Patricia Arquette winning. A year or so removed from winning an Oscar, she now wins an Emmy.
Yes. And I believe she was the favorite.
I think so.
Wait, what?
So there we are, Patricia Arquette bringing home the Emmy. And now that we're on to the limited series or movie, is True Detective going to have kind of a revival tonight? Because the 3rd season, mixed reactions, wasn't particularly great. Mahershala Ali, everybody loves Mahershala Ali, because how can you not? But the show, is it going to get honored in any way? Because HBO's been shut out so far.
I hope not. Like, I think there's, in that category, Mahershala Ali is up against Jared Harris for Chernobyl. He's up against Jarrell Jerome for When They See Us. Even like Sam Rockwell, Fosse Verdon. Like even Hugh Grant. Like, I love Mahershala Ali. I think he was one of the few redeeming things about the 3rd season, which I did not like. But I certainly hope not. But I think True Detective also kind of flew under the radar more than people were expecting, considering all the context and the stakes. So I don't really see a True Detective.
I would say few shows have peaked in their first season the way that True Detective did.
Yeah.
And also, if Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson are not in that first season of True Detective, is it the thing that it became? Are we talking about it the same way that we were talking about it now?
Yeah.
there we go. Patricia Arquette.
That was deep. Aw.
So now directing any limited series or movie. Where are we going with this one, guys?
Oh, there's Ben Stiller.
Ooh. This is very tough.
Yeah. Oof. I'm between Chernobyl and When They See Us.
I'm kind of feeling Thomas Kail.
Oh, okay.
That is a strong combo.
Wow.
This is extremely strong
Okay.
combo.
Right.
RuPaul and
Glasses,
Zendaya.
the looks.
There is swagger for days on stage right now. And
I'm intimidated.
here for it. So here we
Do you
go.
think she's going to get nominated for Euphoria?
I
Next
feel like
year,
Euphoria
yeah.
is going to have a nice year next year.
Yay!
Here we go.
Chernobyl's on the board.
Chernobyl is on the board. HBO is on the board. It took a little while, but here we are.
I hate when they show the losers. Like,
Yeah.
I would not be pleased if I had just lost. Everybody's so humble in defeat.
I
I'd be
know.
like, this is probably the only time I will be here, and I just
Yeah.
lost, and I'm not happy
that
about it.
doesn't feel good.
Honestly, Ben Stiller will probably be back.
Well, Ben Stiller will be back, but like if
Yeah.
I was Ben Stiller, I would be less concerned about winning an Emmy and more concerned
Yeah.
about, just being Ben Stiller. You got a blue velvet suit going on here too, which.
Yep.
And the hat's a strong play. We got a very casual, laid-back, I'm not at the Emmys look that I'm kind of into here. We're like, are we going to a show or are we going to the Emmys?
Do we think they know each other? 'Cause that was kind of like a... They must, right?
I would hope so.
Somebody said in the comments that Joey was the best loser from Friends. If you guys watch, Joey practiced his losing speech and failed miserably.
Oh, wow. And it is the 25th anniversary today of the
Yes.
Friends career, so that's some nice,
It is.
Can't believe
nice
it.
synergy. Two of the nominees that were nominated for roles that involved a lot of wig and aging makeup.
Go for it. You're good. Just go sit down.
So, no big surprises so far tonight outside of Fleabag, but that's a happy surprise.
Happy surprise.
That's a
Good
surprise
surprise.
that we're,
Feel good surprise.
yeah, as we've said, it's a surprise because good things do not happen to shows that we usually like. The Emmys are sometimes very formulaic as far as who they're going to allow to win. Like Rachel Brosnahan winning would have made a lot of sense because
Yeah.
it's happened before. But
Yeah.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge won for Fleabag, because we now have.
Was she nominated at all in her first season? You said it was a couple years ago.
I don't believe so.
No.
I don't think anything was nominated from that first season, was it?
Wow.
It was a really under the radar show
Yeah,
that
Yeah.
swelled up this summer.
love that.
Take your shot.
And if you were wondering if Johnny Depp was going to be mentioned at the Emmys, the answer is yes, because he's in commercials for a cologne.
Well, then I'll do the.
And there we go. A cameo from
Right?
Fansided's Mark Harmon, who sometimes, like the Will Ferrell character on SNL, cannot control the volume of his voice, and it can be heard
You making
in
drinks,
multiple
Clark?
places.
Doing refills?
Doing a great job.
So, Mark Harmon, the bartender.
Mark, have you ever heard of a show called Fleabag?
No, Shay.
No?
What's going on here?
Where's
We're
the
watching the
Emmys?
Emmys and we're doing a live stream.
Wow.
Say hi.
Do you guys? Wow.
How many?
Refills.
We do need
Refills?
refills on our drink.
I don't know how.
Do you know how to make a berry? What's it called? Berry bucha?
Are you guys drunk?
Very sober.
These are going to come back either all juice or all vodka.
Yeah.
So there's a real 50-50 shot on how the rest of the Emmys are going to go.
Look at it. Look at the production here. I like it, Shay.
Yeah, we got ballots.
This is big.
How many Emmys is Game of Thrones going to win tonight?
All the Emmys.
That's not. That's the wrong answer, Carm.
Every Emmy.
There we go. Get a top off. There we go. You taking that, or are you just going to bring the
I
bottle?
don't know if I'm
I don't know what's
All
going on.
right, there you go.
good straws.
There's Mark Harmon, a human being who actively refers to himself as his Twitter handle. So,
At the car.
as we all should. We should only hope to have the type of brand that At the Carm
We've had a
has.
commitment to our own brand.
The commitment to the bit that he has is fantastic.
Right, it could win an Emmy.
It could win
We
an
should
Emmy.
submit
At the very least, a Webby.
Yes.
So,
Something.
oh.
We'll do like the Good Place Writers and Emmy for Megan, except for Emmy for Farm. We'll be our.
They're showing a lot of FX shows here. Mr. In Between is a show that I had not heard of until I saw it on repeat on a Instagram ad, and now I'm extremely into it. It's a show from New Zealand.
Yeah.
Is this which kind of made me think, what are some shows right now that aren't necessarily being talked about at the Emmys that we think next year we will be sitting here saying, I don't know how you haven't been watching this. Kind of in the same way that we're talking about Fleabag right now.
Right.
I don't know if I have anything right now. I've taken a time out from TV. I just wait for the Emmys to tell me what to watch. Oh, Better Things. Okay, I just saw a clip from Better Things.
Better Things.
Love that
A good
show.
one. FX, which has always kind of been, when you're talking about peak television, you've got AMC, which was your Breaking Bad, your Mad Men, Walking Dead for a couple of seasons, HX, which was Nip Tuck, and which Ryan Murphy's now a huge thing, but and Sons of Anarchy, which was the McDonald's of the Golden
won,
Age.
Right?
Did she?
I think.
I feel like that famously was never nominated for an Emmy,
Well, let's
and
find
Kurt
out.
Sutter did his best. I love that he made a show about bikers, then he's like, I think I am a biker, and then he just kind of had that persona. Where
Weird.
Charlie Hunnam did not do that, and we will co-sign on Charlie Hunnam today, tomorrow, and next week.
Let's see.
No Emmys?
Katie Seagal won Golden Globe
Golden Globes,
for
like
her third season.
Sons of Anarchy.
I did not realize Walton Goggins was in the Sons of Anarchy.
He was a,
Oh man, what do you got?
what do we got here? Please
bring all
don't
the
put chips
ingredients?
in my drink, Carm.
This is
I don't
for
want
you,
any
Will.
Lays.
There
Thank
you
you.
go, buddy.
Thank you, Carm.
There you go.
All right, there's a lot of people here. And
Everybody else is doing all right.
there we go.
Shay,
Get me off a little bit.
you're doing a great job.
Thank you so much.
Words of
Thanks on the football
encouragement.
stream.
Football stream's great. Browns and Rams. We have a little bit of a color differentiation here.
What's the score of the
You'll
game,
be
Carm?
okay. No ice for you either.
Appreciate it.
Well, the score of the game is 3-3.
Wow.
There is more ice in the freezer.
Our comedy
Get a
actor.
little booch. Have some booch.
A little booch.
Little
Become
booch.
booch.
How's that
Supporting
taste right
actor in
there?
a limited series or movie
some
is the
booch.
category that
Terrible.
we are doing as we are getting booched by
Alex
the Carm.
hates it.
Oh my God.
Hunter made it. Hunter Armour.
I still heard good, he's still eating more wine.
Oh my
Let's see
No, I
God.
here.
did not. I just said it's not enough for everybody.
Did anybody else try this?
So
Hunter dumped the whole bottle of vodka in.
that is all vodka. That is 100% alcohol.
Let me figure something out for you guys.
This is going to be a race to which of the three of us blacks out first.
Oh, we'll never know if Game of Thrones wins.
We'll never know, but these bits are about to get a lot funnier, so we can look at the silver lining there.
Oh,
Here we go.
nice and warm going down.
Wait.
I did it by Shay's measurements, and then he's like, that's not gonna be enough, you gotta put more. I said, well, there's no more confidence, there's no more confidence. So just do it.
I think I'd be good with almost anyone in this. I like Ben Whishaw. I like Stellan Skarsgård.
There you go.
There we go. Q from James Bond has won.
Paddington.
Paddington Bear is a Emmy Award winner. Oh,
I will recommend Paddington and Paddington 2 any day of the week.
Paddington 2.
P-Jitsu is saying it makes the Emmys better.
What, to
The
be
vodka?
drunk?
Well,
Oh, yes, being drunk makes many
someone
things better.
behind Nick is that is saying, liven up the crew.
Liven the
You
crew
guys
up.
need the alcohol.
Liven up the crew.
Well, we got it.
All right, well,
We're nice and
Oh,
stiff.
message received.
You're about to see
So-
college Alex come out.
Dump Trump also asks, first of all, great name. Second of all, he asks, what's with the bogus comments from the announcer? And I think we referenced this guy a couple of times as we're going to commercial.
Yeah, unclear.
We're unclear of what that is, Dump Trump, but
We
keep
are
fighting
also
the good fight.
confused.
What is it?
Carm's bringing us more booze, so
Don't worry, it's gonna be delicious for you.
What is it?
It's ice and water and a little bit of fructose. There you go, Hill.
It looks
You're gonna love
looks
that.
clear like vodka.
I feel as though this is
Great.
not going to break this up.
This is not gonna make it any better, but it's gonna. I mean, not gonna make it taste better. I think you're gonna live.
Just-
This is-
Is this Red Bull?
There you go. Have that. There it is, guys. Go team, go.
Thanks,
A little bit more
Carm.
ice for you, Hill.
There we go, yes.
All right, now you're cooking with gas.
All of the ice. I do have to say, they don't have this much fun on the
God.
football streams.
Was that
so
more vodka?
It was more vodka. It is eating through the paper straws that we have. We're saving turtles,
Save the
but
turtles.
We're killing brain cells. So
Does Carm have his bartender license?
Carm
I very
barely
much
has a
doubt
driver's
that.
license. So
I know Carm used to be a beer vendor, but I don't think he's ever mixed drinks.
he didn't bottle the
I
beer.
do, and I made the first round. So.
Yeah, and it was
Shays
delicious.
were very good. Carbs were very aggressive, as we're honoring writing in a limited series or movie. Russell T. Davies.
Somebody in the comments wants us to chug it. I'm gonna say nah.
But by all means, you can chug it home.
Cheers, Nick Zen.
All right, Nick, you can chug for us.
I can smell it from here.
Oh.
Should have brought like club soda or something.
Oof, yeah.
So here we go. Ooh, Bradley Whitford and Jimmy Smits. A combo.
I do love Bradley Whitford.
The early 2000s says hello. A little West Wing NYPD Blue action going on. Bradley Whitford is fantastic in that you feel like you could be at a party with him and he'd be really friendly with you, have a nice conversation.
He's also just really. Yeah.
There we go.
Chernobyl time. I'm a little upset that Chernobyl did not win for prosthetics because I am still scarred by the melted skin that I saw in the third episode.
Oh.
Of the movie.
So is this all kind of barreling towards Chernobyl winning Best Limited Series? Because I've got
Certainly
Fosse circled.
seems that way. I think the lack of recognition in the acting categories for When They See Us suggests that no one in the TV Academy watched When They See Us.
Yeah, which seems like a
Their
problem.
loss, but-
All right, so if you are watching on the stream, we can't show the Emmys, but we can talk about the Emmys, which is far more fascinating. Trust us, we've seen some of the bits that they've rolled out so far. It's not been great, but the awards they've handed out have been pretty great. Fleabag still having a great night. Amazon controlling the narrative, and now Chernobyl is on Monday morning. Rightfully so, too. Tough beat for Sharp Objects, though.
But also fair.
Also, yeah, that's true.
Like, I really like Jean-Marc Ballet, love Amy Adams, love Patricia Clarkson, really enjoyed the novel, liked a lot of things about Sharp Objects, but it just didn't come together as a whole quite the way I would have liked it to.
I feel like that was kind of an in-between between Big Little Lies and the second season of Big Little Lies. Do we think that that's going to be here next year? Is Meryl Streep going to have a
Meryl
moment?
Streep
Would
will.
love to see that. That's an iconic show.
Oh, so that's an amazing jumpsuit.
This is, yes. Also, in case you didn't know, 911 is on Fox. We have double promotions going on at the moment.
Oh, I did not recognize him at all.
All right, here we go.
I think if Jared wins, it means Chernobyl's going to win limited series. If
So I have
if
Sam
Gerald Jerome
Rockwell.
wins, I think it's Matthias.
I'm with that. I'm on board with the Jared Harris. Benicio del Toro. Oh, Paul Dano making a
He
small.
was nominated too.
Yeah,
Lost. I like Paul.
Paul Dano's come a long way from The Girl Next Door.
I believe he was the only one that played his character at multiple ages.
Okay.
I think the other actors, they had a different one for a teen and he was older.
And fantastic performance. Mahershala Ali. Who at this point is like the veteran of the group. He is the most well-known.
Well, Hugh Grant's pretty
Would be
well
very
known.
here for a Hugh Grant speech, a mumbling, awkward Hugh Grant speech.
He was
As Carm gives
Quite
us more
good.
liquids. Carm, I have no idea what you're giving us, but
sparkling water.
Sparkling water,
This
that
actually is,
I think it's a
this
good
seems
idea.
like a good
cut it with some water.
Yeah.
We're just, that's what we try
That
to
or
do.
on root beer, so.
That looks good. Nice fizzy
all right, are we
situation.
about to have a Jared Harris moment, and is this about to be a springboard for a Chernobyl moment?
Nope,
And it
we're
is
pivoting,
not.
we're pivoting.
He has finally wins something.
Yay!
Fantastic.
All right, I bet he's gonna have a good speech.
Aw.
Oh.
I love when you can tell it means something to them.
It's very, yeah, it's a very authentic.
Those stairs are trippy. I don't know about that.
Right?
He went up those and I didn't think that was right.
Carm, who can't get out of the spotlight.
Oh, that's a intense photo they have back there.
Oh, this is good now.
Hey!
Yes, the third act of these drinks is
So
very
Amy Adams is
fantastic.
sitting next to Mahershala Ali.
Oh, okay, this is great already. Yeah, it's a very intense photo. The biggest moment of my life, I would want that photo behind me.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, guys.
Great speech.
That's nice.
Strong move bringing your mom is.
Is that Carson Daly?
Wow.
Who did the
What the
seating
hell is he
chart
up
here?
to? That's a shame. All the photos are gonna be
It's gonna
In the back.
be himself leering over his biggest moment.
right up his nose.
Snot just pouring out of his nose. So there we go. Good moment.
Yeah. This is nice.
So what does this do now, Shay, for your Chernobyl theory? Because you said if Jared Harris wins, it means Chernobyl is a lock for
Right,
best
now-
limited series.
Now I'm leaning when they see us again.
I would love that. That would be great.
We've got multiple more hours for me to change my mind again, so.
Okay, there we go.
Time for another gimmick. I
James
have a
Corden
feeling.
and Hugh Laurie are
Oh,
backstage.
Hugh Laurie. What has Hugh Laurie been up to?
He has been living off that house money for a very long time.
Yeah.
And God bless him for that.
Aren't they doing a Blackadder reboot?
I think so. Rowan Atkinson, by the way, if we're talking about what have they been up to?
Oh my gosh.
I unfortunately was exposed to Mr. Bean at like not like too young an age, but
I'm with you, yeah. It was somehow always on the TV when I.
and I just it really like turned me off him as a human being, as a performer.
Yeah.
So I could never. And then when I started watching like Blackadder and what happened.
In the original Lion King?
I know he is good, But I distinctly remember seeing Mr. Bean in a like music class, but it was one of those things where there was a substitute teacher, so obviously we were watching a movie and we watched Mr. Bean and I was just like, what? No.
As a child, you just can't let some of these things go.
No.
And 20 years later, I'm not over it.
If you're watching the Emmys, first of all, shame on you because you're not watching us. But we just saw a commercial for Motherless Brooklyn. What do we feel about that? Edward Norton, this has been a long in-production project for him. Not sure how I feel about him as a director, but there he is, and he's playing a detective with Tourette's. And
Seems to be anything he touches is good.
I would think
Not
so.
worried
I don't
about it.
have Edward Norton season tickets like I would hope I would.
Yeah, I was just catching the cast out of the corner of my eye as I was telling my Mr. Bean story. And I was
priorities.
intrigued. I'm intrigued. I think having Edward Norton as director is interesting, just because I feel like I'm more hearing about when he's an actor, he likes to basically be the director too. So it seems like if he's going to be in it, he needs to be the director. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. But yeah. I'll check it out.
How has
I'd give it a chance.
Edward Norton not ended up? And I think I know the answer to this question because he's a capital F film guy. But how has he not ended up like in a Sam Rockwell track where he's doing some of these mini series? He seems like he would be perfect for some of these.
Yeah, I think he was too big. Where like Sam Rockwell was never like getting a superhero movie.
That's true. And then
so
losing it because he's psycho.
So I think Sam Rockwell kind of always sort of naturally fell into these increasingly more essential and high caliber roles, whereas Edward Norton perhaps flew too close to the sun.
Facebook Watch original.
When is Facebook going to get nominated for some Emmys?
Yeah, I haven't been on the Facebook Watch bandwagon yet, except for Jada Pinkett Smith's Red Table Talk when the whole Tristan Thompson scandal broke.
Which talk about things that hit the peak of the zeitgeist and we've completely forgotten about. Somebody mentioned Jordan Woods the other day and I was like, who? And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I was super into that for like 5 minutes. And then it all kind of washed over us.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, so our next award that we've got coming up, what do we got? Shay, you've got the
I do.
order
I've got
of
the run. So
awards
we just did. That was the lead actor in a limited series,
It
right?
was.
Yes.
So I think we've got lead actress. Or no, we already did that because that was.
We did supporting actress.
Okay.
That was Patricia Arquette.
Patricia was supporting actress.
So lead actress, this would be, I believe, is Amy Adams up for this? And this is our
Yes.
big category. James Corden will hopefully do something funny.
The man the Emmys awarded over Beyonce. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
James Corden, the forgotten man of late night. He had his moment.
He
Talk
did.
about flying too close to the
He
sun.
had his 15 minutes, and now it's done.
Carpool karaoke that's
Yeah.
gone out of control.
Here we go. I was pretty sure he was about to announce that before giving us the nominees. Ah, yes, Benedict Cumberbatch. The Deadwood movie, which wasn't necessarily that well received by people who didn't like Deadwood to begin with.
Yeah.
King Lear, which I admit I've never seen.
Nope.
Another Prime
I know
video.
of King Lear, but not that specific adaptation. Okay, very interesting here.
That I feel like we could have seen coming.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because I mean, I guess it's a television movie for lack of being anything else, but love these people running in from the back.
Oh, that's me. Is it?
Oh, you didn't get to sit with them.
Oh, we have a kilt. Big night for kilts. So here we go. Black Mirror Bandersnatch, which interesting concept.
Yeah, I'm not on board the interactive.
No, it was a mixed execution.
I'm mostly of the mind that, you know, I watch TV and movies because I want you to tell me the story. I'm not going to do any work here.
Yeah, right? That's your job. As the camera panned around, I was like more and more curious as far as like seating charts go, because like Gwendolyn was in front of Macy, but they were both on the ends, and I'm like, is there something about like being
interesting.
easy access to get into the aisle?
Ooh.
But they were nominated against each other, so I don't know.
Conspiracy theories afoot. I'm into it.
But they're also just like so many like strange combinations.
Yeah.
Nick Zen said we're doing a good job, so thank you,
Pardon?
Nick. Nick
Thanks,
Zen said we're
Nick.
doing a good
Was
job.
Nick also the one that was telling us to chug?
Yes, he was.
Same guy.
I remember you, Nick. Oh. I do love the kids go to bed shout out. That's a classic.
That is a classic. That is on the bingo card
Right.
of cliche things to say. Okay, our Hugh Laurie moment is coming.
Was he in the thick of it?
Ooh.
Is he like part of the?
Maybe.
I think this is, yeah, I was gonna say, I think he makes sense as a presenter because he knows the show creator from previous work,
Yeah.
which is nice. I love that. I love that kind of friendship.
There we go. Veep tribute here.
Yeah.
Is this as good as they say? Maybe I should start Veep. I
It is.
I
It's
got
a
off
little.
the Julia Dreyfus thing because I hate Seinfeld so much. I never watched anything else that she's in.
Yeah. Oh.
Is
Yeah.
that we have the Veep connection.
It's good. It's just it's
It is
real
kind of
mean. And like in a way that like works,
I'm okay with it.
but it like it.
It is kind of like Parks and Rec meets Seinfeld with it's spiked with the HBO's license to just do whatever the hell
Right,
you want
okay.
to do. Like we don't have to abide by
But like dark parks. and
yeah, dark
Like,
Parks
that's
and
fine.
Rec. Like if Larry David was like Parks and Rec, but my style. As they're bringing out the Veep cast much in the same way that they did Game of Thrones earlier to kind of give them a little applause, which actually makes me a little nervous as to how much we're going to get honored later.
Right.
Like we get these are seminal shows that we want to kind of give a nice send-off to.
But I also don't mind. 'Cause it's only the two of them really this year.
Yeah. we go. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Really having her moment.
This is a little interesting happening after like she's already lost the Best Actress.
Yeah, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who lost to Phoebe Waller-Bridge in the showdown between actresses with 3 names. She lost out. The Fonz. Is it really the Emmys until we see the Fonz?
Is it really the Emmys? You're not nominated for something? If he's not on TV, it's TV, bro.
Veepberry very much does feel like a show where it's not like Game of Thrones where everybody knows what it is, but it feels like the cool kids know what it is. So like when the cast comes out, it's like, oh, this person's really cool, but like I'm talking to maybe somebody else who hasn't seen the show, they're like, I could not pick this person out of a grocery line if I tried.
Yep.
I feel like Silicon Valley is an HBO show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shouts to Mike Judge. Here we go. Actress in a miniseries or movie? Where are we going with this one?
I mean,
Michelle Williams. I like it.
I think it could be Michelle Williams, especially because I'm big into building the Amy Adams as the new Leo mythology of the woman who just can't win an award.
I like it. Ooh, could Patricia Arquette go 2 for 2?
Maybe.
I'd sign for that. It's interesting. Or perhaps When They See Us has another moment here. Which would be very deserving. So here we go. We've got Tony Hill sprinting onto stage for
He's
yet
doing
another
the
bit.
assistant thing.
One last
Yeah,
time.
character, yeah.
Playing the hits. Here we go. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who lost an Emmy, is now announcing the winner of an Emmy. Michelle Williams.
There she goes. She was really great in that.
We have the Busy Phillips. And Lin-Manuel Miranda is escorting her onto stage. Let her have her moment, man. What are we doing? Come
I
on.
believe was like a producer on it though.
I think so, but he has like Little Mermaid songs to write, right? Like, let's go. Come on. All right, Michelle Williams.
It's a hefty trophy, just looking at it now.
Yeah.
Like, that's that base.
Nice. Lovely moment for Michelle Williams. So,
All right.
there we go.
What's next?
What do we have next, Shay?
1 second. We have limited series. We're doing
the best limited series. We're doing it.
Yeah.
P. Jitsu says Chernobyl is going to win. You say
I'm going
When They See Us.
I've changed my mind.
I've got Fosse circled, but I am increasingly less confident in that choice. And the three of us are all completely ignoring Sharp Objects, which I feel like would be a hit considering it was an HBO show. It's got Amy Adams, it's Gillian Flynn, like it's got all of the textbook things that you would think would capture
I really think it's fifth on this list. I think
I do
even
too.
Escape at Dannemora might have some, sneaky buzz to it that people in the Academy, happen to watch.
There we go. So here we go. Best limited series.
Oh, good old John Hamm.
And we have Naomi Watt and John Hamm coming
He was
out.
quite delightful in Good Omens, I will say. Strong comedic effect.
True.
Underrated
Very true.
comedic actor, I would say.
And Good Omens too. David Tennant, season tickets. We'll see just about anything that man is in. So. All right, so the comedic bit's getting a little bit better here as the Emmys go on. Naomi Watt, who is going to be in the Game of Thrones prequel.
Yes. Yes, she is.
So an interesting crossover here as we say goodbye to Game of Thrones tonight, and also welcome her into our lives. As
Hello, Naomi.
Game of
So
Thrones.
moving.
This is everybody who missed 21 grams on, missed out in.
Chernobyl.
Chernobyl is our winner. So Jared
for
Harris doesn't
them.
win, but it still wins Best Limited Series.
It was quite good. I'm glad I stuck with it. The melted skin almost.
That's the reason I didn't start it.
It was. I remember watching the first episode on Mother's Day because my
Oh,
mom
jeez.
wanted to. That was like her Mother's Day thing. She was like, I want us as a family to watch Chernobyl, which tells you a lot about my family.
I want us all to sit down
Right?
and really
I just want
discuss.
us to, watch this together.
Happy Mother's
As a
Day,
family. We're gonna
melted
watch
flesh.
Chernobyl. And I was just, and both my parents afterwards commented like, we haven't seen you like react to like I watched like The Purge,
Right.
I'm usually fine.
And it was not okay.
And it was not okay. And then I stuck with it, and then the hospital episode where but I powered through.
And then all of our favoriteest Instagram influencers went to the actual Chernobyl site,
Oh yeah.
not knowing that it is a radioactive site. So
Right.
lessons learned the hard way.
Went to the
In the
site
world of
and
social
then took
media.
off all their clothes and thirst traps.
As you do when you discover the site of a nuclear.
Can't wait for the follow-up 5 years
Disaster.
later. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, that itchy skin, you might want to get checked out. So, Chernobyl wins. Is this a surprise? Because it was a good show, and it's the weird cross-section of a show that's actually good and did become part of the conversation where everybody collectively was like, oh, you're watching that too? So am I.
Yeah.
I don't think it's really a surprise. I think it could have been like a coin flip, Chernobyl, When They See Us.
I feel like far fewer people saw When They See Us, though, which is unfortunate because it's a fantastic show.
Yes and no. I think fewer people talked about it, but more people have Netflix accounts than HBO.
That's a
I
good
would
point.
guess. Good for them. Good work, well rewarded.
So we have cackling in the
Alright,
background.
So, with the limited series wrapped, we're gonna do some variety series.
Variety series.
Yeah, writing, sketch series, directing. And then we'll jump right into the drama categories, and that will wrap up the night.
We are powering through. Have either of you watched The Boys on Amazon?
I haven't.
No.
But I've heard good things.
There was mild enthusiasm from Shay, and then we had just utter disgust.
I haven't heard of it. So
Alex.
No.
Because I know you're a big superhero fan, and that's kind of like,
Yeah, no, I
making
haven't.
fun, or not making fun of, but it's like the Wild Bunch of superhero films, where it's like we've taken it to its natural conclusion of now we're just going to make fun of it.
Yeah, no.
Look at Amazon has already got their.
Get the commercial up. Mm-hmm. Only on Prime Video.
So there we go. Amazon having a big night. HBO's having a big night, but we haven't gotten to Game of Thrones yet. Chernobyl wins Best Limited Series. We're going to move into the Best Drama categories. We're not going to get to Best Drama until the end of the night, obviously. But we've kind of mentioned this before, but for people who have joined the stream a little late, what are you guys looking for out of the Best Drama categories?
Ooh, I I want Pose. Every time each additional time you ask me this question, I feel stronger and stronger about my answer.
That might have a lot to do with this.
We're just gonna speak it into existence. So
Truly, though, we're going to speak it into existence. I think Pose, for its first season, would be amazing. I think I looked down this list, and I know Better Call Saul is that show that is so good that no one's watching.
fantastic.
Bodyguard was great. I mean, we were past these awards already, but I think the direction in that first episode, like the attention, was like, took years off my life. Game of Thrones, I don't think Game of Thrones fans should be upset or offended that the 8th season isn't recognized. I think we can all agree that that wasn't necessarily the best season of television, dramatic television put forth last year. Killing Eve had a similar, like, season 2 wasn't quite up to season 1, so if they won, it'd be like some kind of, make up for last year. Ozark doesn't feel anything. Succession.
Just no.
Nope. Hard pass.
Succession is so good, but we're watching the second season as it's happening right now, and it's like the second next year. But this year, it's like I'm okay not having the first season recognized because I feel so good about its second season.
Yeah.
This Is Us, again, I mean, This Is Us apologist somewhat. I mean, I'm souring on it a little bit, but it's like it doesn't hold a candle to what else is going on. So it's like it's Pose.
I did forget that This Is Us was a thing. I was like, oh wait, the show's still on?
I know.
Like it played out its bit to start where it was like, okay, because I watched it for the first time because the thing was like, when is the first time you cried?
Yeah.
And the first time I cried was the episode at the cabin when Randall is having the vision with Jack, and I was like, oh God, it got me. I remember I was eating a taco and I was like, oh, I gotta put this taco down. You ruined tacos for me. Alex, best actress in a drama, Emilia Clarke. Everybody's circling that because of Game of Thrones. Because when you put her up against Kit Harington, we've all kind of agreed that Kit Harington is like, not really. But is she going to win? Does she deserve to win? Because we also have a lot of deserving actresses in that category.
Yeah, I didn't put Emilia Clarke down to win this one. I did put Sandra Oh because, like Henry Winkler, I think it's bad juju to go against Sandra Oh.
It is.
Sandra Oh. What else do we have here? Laura Linney, Mandy Moore, Sandra Oh, Jodie Comer, Viola Davis is in there, Robin Wright, who we mentioned earlier.
I feel like the best actress in a drama series category is fairly weak this year.
Yeah.
It's not strong.
It's a lot of great actresses nominated for less than exceptional seasons.
Like Mandy Moore? No, I don't know.
That definitely feels like a shoe-in.
That's a stretch.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, come on, what are we doing here? I get it.
I could see Sandra Oh getting it for the makeup for
Yeah.
And that
2018.
would kind of have the Fleabag effect of putting Killing Eve back in the conversation, where it's like, hey guys, this is a good show you should probably be watching.
Yeah.
So, and again, historically, The Sopranos, James Gandolfini lost to James Spader for Boston
back.
Legal for his last season of The Sopranos.
That felt like an exceptionally long commercial break.
That's an exceptional one. And we have Lin-Manuel Miranda, who should have other things to do than be at the Emmys.
I will be
he's
right
just
back.
helping.
Oh.
Lin-Manuel Miranda, who is kind of ascended in an interesting way, where he's
What's
everywhere.
happening?
Okay, so we have, of course,
Is that Adam?
it is. Ready?
What?
I don't know his last name.
But he's on Righteous Gemstones. A show
He is.
that I have been watching
It's a good
first
show.
out of an obligation, and then I've kind of sneakily found myself very attached to it. I don't know if I like it, but I keep watching it, so here we are.
Here we are. John Goodman making his presence known as a television warrior.
Should this have been the opening then?
I feel like it should have, because the opening was extremely weak.
I mean, this isn't strong, but it feels more.
It's stronger as we introduce Samantha Bee into the mix. This definitely has like opening number feels to it.
Yeah.
And I get what they're doing with like the whole variety show thing, like very clever. But also, what is this like ladybug thing going on here?
I think it's more Masked Singer.
This is nightmare fuel is what it is. And we've got a Yeti here who is...
I mean, we're big Yeti people here.
We are very big Yeti people.
We're Team Yeti always.
Shouts to Team Yeti, but the variety series...
Yeti solidarity.
Okay. That was better than the opening act. Anytime you can introduce pyrotechnics into things, I am a big fan of that. I have always wanted to do
I'm really upset that they're not nailing the no host thing.
I know.
My takeaway from the Oscars was like this was like a very effective way to do a TV or do an award show.
Yeah.
And now I feel like we're all going to be like, this was bad. This is
Documentary Now is amazing. This was a great episode.
I can't stop talking about John Mulaney because then I will not stop talking about John Mulaney for the rest of this live stream.
I mean, I'm very here for the John Mulaney conversation.
I will be so pleased. I wonder if his wife came with him last year because he had a very delightful acceptance speech last year when he said that his wife didn't come with him because she was like, I'm not going to fly across the country to watch you lose.
I would bring my wife up there if I was John Mulaney. I'd be like, you're coming up this time because you stayed on the other coast when I won my Emmy. Although this does feel like a John Oliver category.
But that...
Of course. Like, I mean, The Daily Show is going to win.
The company co-op episode is just, it was so niche and so meticulously...
Documentary Now, if you're not watching it, you need to be watching it, so.
And what's interesting is, so I saw the co-op one and the artist one with Cate Blanchett.
Yeah.
I saw it at Sundance and they screened it with like a little bit of your documentary is based off of. And I didn't realize, wow, which
2 for 2 with John Mulaney. Alex, you've come back at a great time when we're just waxing poetic about John Mulaney.
Oh, okay. I'm on board. I saw the furry costume and I got nervous that we were back on a Masked Singer kind of thing.
Oh, you missed that.
You missed that. There was a whole number for that. All right, here we go.
But anyways. All right, that's fair.
Yep, John Oliver. Like we said, kind of on a Daily Show run here where he's...
Just got the category on lock.
Which, by the way, no offense to Trevor Noah, because Trevor Noah is very good at his job, but swing and a miss by Comedy Central not having John Oliver
Oh, yeah.
succeed
But
Jon Stewart.
I mean, I'm sure he would have done well on the Daily Show, but I enjoy that he gets to carve his own niche with the weekly thing, where it's a different structured show.
Very true.
And he gets to sort of own it in a way that he wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah, big John Oliver fan. I do watch his stuff.
Yeah. It's very true because I do remember kind of the moment where I was like, oh, this guy's gonna be really good at this, which is when he was covering for John Oliver during the George Zimmerman trial, and he just nailed his 5-minute segment. And I was like, there we go. This guy is gonna be a thing. And here we go. Winning Emmys for him and his team.
Also another Community alum.
It's very true.
Which had an anniversary recently as well of its premiere, I think this past weekend. It's 10 years since.
There we go, John.
Oh, wow.
Oliver.
More people should shout out dogs in their acceptance speeches.
Yeah.
Big fan. Big fan. of
Bosses
shouting out
everywhere,
dogs.
take note. We want office dogs.
We anti-dog at Fansided. We love dogs. We have a site, Doggo Day, which Shay and I ran for like maybe 2 minutes, and then we were like,
We did, yeah.
so. Here we go.
All right.
Anthony
Game of
Anderson
Thrones
is
music
back.
playing.
Also, shouts to Always Be My Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, such a good one.
That should have been nominated for TV movie, right?
That should have been.
That-
Keanu
Yeah.
Reeves'
Right?
Heat Check should have been nominated for everything that it was. Which I'm sure there's a time and a place for the Keanu Reeves conversation. I don't know if it's now, but I'm here for it. Documentary now, getting another shout. Drunk History, Who is America?
They're flying through these.
The Emmys looked at his watch and was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
We gotta get through these.
What can we fast track?
Best
Variety series.
Variety series. What do people care about the least?
Oh my gosh.
What do we got? What do we got?
Saturday
Hey,
Night
Saturday Night Live, Lorne Michaels rolling on up.
Which I guess is a nice little ego boost considering the week they've been having.
That would be me. Sarah Silverman is me if I ever lose an Emmy where I'm like, don't care. Move on to the next category, please. Why show me? We're bringing up the cast of SNL. Kenan Thompson, Mikey Day. Kenan Thompson.
Seeing A.D. Bryant reminds me that Shrill was totally shut out this year.
Ooh, Shrill, which is a very good show. It's in that
Hulu. It's on that Hulu. What is the deal with Hulu?
And it's in that like Pen 15 bracket for me where it's like, oh, I kind of like stumbled on it and you watch a couple episodes, you're like, wow, this is really good.
I mean, the writing and direction for the pool party episode, that should have been nominated.
Yeah.
Retroactively upset.
What's and this is probably why it's not nominated, but the guy who used to be on SNL who has the show on Netflix, where it's like a bunch of different bits. Actually, not a lot of information, but
Tim Robinson?
Tim Robinson, yeah. I knew you would get that.
I had a whole like piece locked and loaded about that for the run Emmy nominations, and he wasn't.
Oh. Great show.
But yeah, no, that's
that feels like a Hulu show that like accidentally woke up in Netflix world. It's like, oh wait, I don't belong here. But Lorne Michaels waxing poetic about his years and years of doing
it would have been
television.
in this category too.
Ooh.
I think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson would have been in this particular category.
Kenan Thompson, Beck Bennett back there, Kate McKinnon, A.D. Bryant.
Chicago's own Beck Bennett.
Yes. Chicago's own, which is interesting because isn't he from like San Diego? Because he's in that like Kyle Mooney like.
I would say Chicago's own in the generous way where I was being generous to people that grow up in the suburbs. Really, I believe it's like Evanston's own.
Which to those watching the stream not in the know, if you are not actually from the city of Chicago and you say you're from Chicago, that is a big no-no. They had an entire Olympics commercial where they're like, representing Chicago from Oak Park, and I'm like, hold on.
Well, it's any time the Big Ten Network is like, Northwestern, Chicago's Big Ten school. It's like, is it though? You're a suburb. There's like more alum from other Big Ten schools in Chicago than Northwestern grads in Chicago.
It's like, look, if we have to take a train line to leave the city to get to your city, you're not part of Chicago. The L does not connect the city, it just separates us all.
Back to TV.
But Beck Bennett, thank you for that segue. This is your fault, as the Masked Singer is back in our lives. When is this not going to have? When is this going to be on the downturn of its moment? Because I feel like it's already peaked.
I've never even seen it, and I'm so over it. There's no way that this is entertaining.
The reveal is entertaining, and it's always so bizarre because I see.
The premiere was like the premiere of the first season. People were like, "What?" And like not even people watching the premiere, but people seeing people react to the premiere on Twitter and like clips where it's like, like what on earth is this? And it worked. It was thrilling for a while, but it had a lot of flaws to it too, where it felt like both the mystery and the reveals were like heavily orchestrated. So I don't really know how it pulls off a second season.
I just feel like I've never heard anybody say that they watched The Masked Singer. Like, you know, American Idol used to be huge. The Voice even took a turn, but like no one's ever admitted they watched The Masked Singer.
No.
I chalk that up to there not being any real people in my life that watch any of those shows.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Where it's like I don't, I don't hang out with a big competition show crowd.
I never have actually watched The Masked Singer, but I have seen it trending on Twitter. And I'm always fascinated because I'll see it, and I don't think I need to watch it because I'll be like, oh, who's The Masked Singer? And you'll like go through the Twitter moment, and it's like, it was Terry Bradshaw. I'm like, the hell? What? Terry Bradshaw? But
so this was billed as a Netflix television event, which I'm real hung up on because technically, or typically, like television events are when they're like, oh, we're gonna do like a live musical or whatever. It's like this is a thing, and it's happening for these 2 hours on this network, and we're all gonna tune in and watch it. And Netflix inherently is not built that way.
no. Ooh, question for the panel.
Yeah.
The Breaking Bad movie comes out October 11th. It's being released in theaters, which therefore makes it eligible to be nominated for an Academy Award. Is it going to get nominated for an Emmy, or is it going to get nominated for an Oscar? Both? I don't know how this works.
See,
Neither?
The structure's changing. Like, we can't keep going with this old tried and true method. It's no longer working. I don't know.
I think it's both. Because I think both assuming quality.
Well, yeah.
Because I think I learned about this more recently, and it's, I guess, kind of a somewhat standard thing with documentaries, but Free Solo, which swept the 7 categories that it was nominated in at the Emmys, after winning the Oscar for Best Documentary, I was like, how does that work?
Interesting.
It's because it was produced by National Geographic and it aired on like TV as well, so it was therefore eligible for an Emmy as well as an Oscar. I think it would fall into that kind of thing.
Interesting.
There's all these rules that we're probably not aware of that
Right.
really segregate the...
But there's like rules and also loopholes. Like there's
Because it's like a TV movie.
But if it gets nominated, let's say whoever lets their nominations out first, the Emmys, if it gets nominated for an Emmy movie, that probably disqualifies it from getting nominated for an Oscar.
It would come out in October, so it would come out after these Emmys.
Okay.
It would be eligible for Oscars in February.
Yeah.
And then it would also still be in the cycle for next fall's Emmys.
I just feel like it would it would just cancel itself out.
Yeah.
Once you get nominated for an Oscar, like, well, now you're no longer a TV movie because you've already, I don't know how
But
it works.
like OJ, the
Yeah,
documentary,
that was the
nominated
one.
for an Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
And one Emmy.
then that opens up Pandora's box of The Irishman, Martin Scorsese's movie. It's on Netflix. It's coming out in theaters. Is
It
that
will
going to
get
get
both,
nominated
yeah.
as a best TV movie?
Messy.
Is it a TV movie?
I think any TV movie has always been, and I'm just making this up, has always been able to be submitted for an Oscar,
Yeah.
but typically the quality of TV movies is such that you would never qualify anyways, so people weren't creating Oscar caliber TV movies, and now they
Interesting.
are. And so if you submit a movie, whatever it means to be a movie, you can be considered for an Oscar.
Yeah.
And if you air on television, you can be considered for an Emmy.
Interesting.
Be in theaters for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Oh.
Interesting.
Schmidt.
We have Schmidt, not fansided.com's
Yeah, I was
Patrick
deeply
Schmidt.
confused,
We
but-
have
No.
New Girls.
I just
Well,
started
actually-
and finished New Girl within the last 3 months, and I'm
So
obsessed.
Criminally underappreciated at the
Yes.
Emmys, but here we
My
are.
old roommates, I got into New Girl because it was kind of the show that was always like the apartment show where
Yeah.
it was
Yep.
the one that was always on in our living room.
Yep.
And it was so good, and it was, it was the same one where I kind of like wrote it off way back when, but
Yeah.
I watched all of it because of them.
I couldn't tolerate Zooey Deschanel in the same way I can't tolerate Midge Maisel, but
That's the sneaky thing about that show. That it's like it's the ensemble. That's
yes,
like, and
everybody
once,
else makes it.
When they leaned into writing for the whole, like again ensemble,
Right.
it became so good. Like they in the second season or whatever it was, when they realized like the show wasn't really about her.
Yeah,
It gets great.
so good.
All right, so what is this, directing? Okay.
9th Emmy win.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
I've not ever been in a room with an Emmy, let alone won 9 of them. So there we go, SNL. 2 awards on the night. What does this do to our SNL versus Game of Thrones count? I feel like this escalates the scales a little bit.
Let's see. I don't have SNL's number, but they've won twice, and Game of Thrones has won 0. So
Very true. So the goalposts have moved for Game of Thrones.
But I guess that is a good question. Like, how far ahead is SNL? I would imagine quite far, because again, as we've established, they have 36 additional seasons to work with.
Yeah, they have like 4 decades of television. I do always appreciate though when people from SNL that aren't in the cast get recognized for the work that they do. Mike Ryan wrote a really good piece a couple of years ago about what it's like to be a person who's in charge of the set changes on SNL and what it's like to move it around. So, this hat, into it.
Oh, the sparkles.
This is 100% my outfit for tomorrow in the office.
They need to change the naming because it's just getting annoying with these late shows.
We've reached the let's move it along point of the show. It's like, okay.
We get it, it's funny. Late night
yes,
show.
John Oliver and his velvet suit are coming back up.
Love.
And
Good.
All right, let's talk drama. I mean, we can hear John Oliver out because he's usually quite eloquent. And he didn't speak for the other one because it went to the
that's true. And we'll take a detour around the potential Lion King conversation we could have because of John Oliver. Drama, because we are into drama. What is the first drama category that we are going to be honoring?
Supporting actor up first.
Supporting actor.
Which is Game of Thrones Showdown.
Ooh, this is otherwise known as the Peter Dinklage category.
Yes. It's going to Peter. I'm pretty confident in that.
I do love how Chris Sullivan is kind of looped into this here for This Is Us.
Everyone keeps saying that Chris Sullivan is the not Game of Thrones choice, and I don't get it.
I don't think so. If I'm going with a not Game of Thrones choice, I'm going with Giancarlo Esposito or Jonathan Banks from Better Call Saul. Because, look, I know that Chris Sullivan is a thing because of This Is Us, but I can't see him and not think of, oh, you're the ambulance guy from The Nick. Like, that's you. Like, I'm sorry, man. And if you didn't win an Emmy for the Irish accent, like, you're not going to win one for This Is Us, but... All right, so the biggest winner of that category was that hat.
Yeah, I would actually lead, if I had to pick part of the outfit, I think I would go with the suit.
The suit was good.
It just, whatever material was, it hangs very nicely.
It makes me rethink of what I showed up in prom with. I'm just like, oh man, if I would have just had the glitter suit. Damn. All right, Taraji P. Henson and Terrence Howard.
Did you ever see Proud Mary?
I did. I was way too excited about Proud Mary. I bought a lot of stock in that movie.
Me too.
Didn't necessarily live up to the hype.
It was, I would describe it as bad.
It was not good.
And I really wanted to like it because I like her so much and I love a good assassin movie. And it was just...
I love that. I would describe it as bad. Like, I thought you were going to have this adjective I've never heard of. This is still
are they
crazy? These are farewell seasons.
We are just saying goodbye to shows.
Seasons that they didn't nominate.
This is phenomenal. Which, by the way, Broad City, fantastic.
Broad City should have been nominated.
Why is Broad City not nominated?
Any of these.
And also, House of Cards is technically nominated because of Robin Wright, but I guess the Emmy is not interested in splitting hairs. The Big Bang Theory, which was funny for an episode. And oof.
Big Bang Theory is like a fascinating cultural artifact, though, because it was phenomenally popular.
It really was.
And yet
it is kind of responsible for making geek culture cool. Even though it's not why geek culture is cool, but it feels like it's like the nirvana of geek culture, where it was right place, right time.
Yes.
And it's therefore the representative of oh, geek culture is cool. I go to Comic-Con, but like, you know.
There was a Venn diagram that came out about like Frasier and like the Big Bang Theory, and like Frasier was like about smart people for smart people. Big Bang was like about smart people for dumb people.
Also, Jim Parsons is a phenomenal actor, which is a really strange thing when you only or primarily associate him with Sheldon, and like he won a lot for that role. Which I guess that's like a separate conversation, but it's like you hear about him being cast in these things, and he did like.
What was the HBO movie?
Yeah, like the
with
Normal Heart or something.
The Normal
like
Heart,
that.
yeah.
But he's in a couple of things like that. And he is a very, and he was in something else as well. Whereas like, he's a really strong dramatic actor.
Yeah.
But he, for so much of the culture and the public, like he is Sheldon. And so you see, like, oh, Jim Parsons cast in this, and you're like, what? It's like, no, he's
talented. Trust us.
I wonder if that's going to happen to the Modern Family cast. Specifically, Eric Stonestreet, who's always going to be that character.
But I feel like people knew him before that show. Like, and he was like, I forget what movie he was in, but he was like a very high-level military man, very much the opposite of his current character.
I didn't recognize him. And I was rewatching Malcolm in the Middle, and he's in that. Also, Stanley from The Office is in that '70s show, which I was rewatching.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh, interesting. Jim Parsons, what else have you been in? He was in Michael Jackson's Halloween, which has not aged well in the last couple of years.
Are you all excited for Watchmen?
Yes and no. I'm interested in seeing what it's all about. I liked the Zack Snyder movie. I wasn't huge into the comic book, so I didn't really have kind of a prejudice going into it as far as what I was expecting. The show, I feel like, is going to reintroduce the comic book, and people are going to compare it to the comic book or graphic novel. I'm sorry. So, Jose Youngs, if you're watching, graphic novel. I'm sorry. People are going to reintroduce themselves to that, and I don't think it's necessarily the same thing.
Yeah.
Because it's the guy who did Lost and The Leftovers, right?
Right.
So Damon Lindelof. So I'm into it. What about you, Alex?
I haven't seen the movie, so it's not really on my radar right now, but I'm sure it will be.
Also, I've been beaten over the head today with Apple TV
Yes, me too.
advertisements. Like, what the hell?
I'm excited. Some of their stuff looks really good.
Yeah.
I do like the Haley Steinfeld.
The Dickinson?
The Dickinson,
Yes.
which I'm like, wait, so why do we have an A$AP Rocky song behind this
Isn't it
Dickinson
Wiz
thing?
Khalifa's death, or
There's a couple of different ones.
where he's like in like a glowing carriage thing, and
Yeah.
he's just, what is going on here?
And they've got the Jason Momoa show where he can't see,
Oh
and it's
my
called
gosh.
See.
It's called See.
And then I saw an advertisement for a Aaron Paul show, and I was just like, what?
finally decided to start rolling out all this content they've been stockpiling for like 5 years. And
Yes.
It's just gonna be wild.
I've been wondering about that because we're in this era where we're like, look, it's peak TV, and there's so much good TV you can't possibly watch it all. And Apple was like that, but an app.
Yeah.
Like, so much stuff you can watch, but you're not going to watch it all. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I'll definitely watch C. I think they should change the name because anytime you can't really like eloquently.
It sounds stupid.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
stupid name
Have you
for a
guys seen
show.
C? Like that's not a sentence I'm gonna say very often.
Have you seen C?
Have you
That's
seen
when people ask
C?
me if I'm okay. They're like, you all
What the
right?
hell are you talking about? It's Jason Momoa. Trust me.
He's not one of my people. I don't
No?
have anything against him, but he's not like a, as you were putting it before, a season tickets. Like
I'm a season ticket holder.
I need like other recommendations to get me on board.
Well, you missed out on this season 1 of Game of Thrones, so that's probably
yeah.
What
where
was
you-
the Sundance show he was in? Pioneer or something? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Selkie's mentioned this a number of times
Yeah.
to me, but I
M.
never
Night
remember what it's
Shyamalan
called.
has something going on Apple TV too.
This is what I'm saying. Like, it's like, here's everything. You'll eventually get to it.
Everything you've ever wanted. Here you go.
And it's also coming out, it's counter-programming to Disney Plus, which is Star Wars and Marvel, which captures like 75% of the viewing public. Also, RIP HBO Max. That's not going to work.
Oh, jeez.
You guys have friends and like what else?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Oh, okay.
Back at it at the Emmys we go. What's our next category, Shay?
Supporting actor in a drama series, I believe.
Boom. Peter
starting
Dinklage. Buckle up.
Once he's done speaking. 'Cause presumably he's not the one announcing that.
He's like plot twist.
This really is, as you put it before, like the lull of the show.
Yeah, we are into the 9 o'clock hour Central Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, so
Right.
things
and
are going to get
in
moving.
theory, it ends in 45 minutes. That's the goal is always 3 hours over by 10.
It never happens.
Right, 10 central,
So,
we should say. Oh, platinum. We're going with platinum age now.
Love it.
here we go.
There we go. Right to the point. I love that.
Into it.
Thank you for your service.
Mahershala Ali, otherwise known as Blade in the future.
Yes. Which was
Seth
an
MacFarlane
amazing
is here.
flex when he got his Oscar, and then he was like, I want Blade.
He's like,
I just
if
want an
Green Book
Oscar,
has to
give
win,
me Blade.
I'll win it.
Oh.
Here is royalty. Into the dress, too.
Oh, I was gonna say, I wonder where the saunter was coming from, and it's from the sneakers, but I like it.
I am into the sneakers.
Those-
It's like a weird combat boot meets I'm going to go play basketball.
They look like those
vibe.
shape-ups that were supposed to like work your
Oh, the
calves.
Skechers.
I mean, it's a
It's
long
making a
thing.
comeback.
Maybe she's trying to also get her workout in. while she's
Yeah, that's
acting.
fine.
I get those steps. Definitely thought that was a motorized scooter, but
This is all these elements. aren't necessary.
Have you guys ever seen the short documentary called Life After Pi
Yep.
about the motion effects industries? It's fascinating how these Oscar-nominated movies were winning all these awards, and yet the effects studios were like bankrupt. Essentially, it's amazing.
supporting
All
actor
right, you're going Peter?
in a drama. I've got Peter. What do you got?
Peter.
Got Peter too.
All right, we're gonna be
that's
really
not voting with
disappointed
your
slash
heart.
I know,
happy
but
when
my heart
Jonathan
says
Banks
Alfie.
wins.
But my heart
Oh.
has been pretty wrong, except with the Fleabag.
I want to say this is going to tell us a lot about how Game of Thrones is going to do, but I feel like if there's a lock outside of Best Drama, it's Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alfie Allen. Shouts.
Oh, this just makes me want to rewatch it all. I miss it.
I
And
could
there he
also see
is.
it being Miloš Coster-Waldau.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
I just didn't
It does feel like,
like Peter Dinklage had really any like showcase.
In the last season.
Peter Dinklage. There we
Wow.
go. If there was an
Oh.
elder statesman slash representative of Game of Thrones,
That
a
makes sense.
thespian to
Yeah.
represent the actors on Game of Thrones, it's Peter Dinklage.
And he is so
Less-
good.
Lest we forget the great cinematic moment in history when he attacked Will Ferrell in Elf.
Yes. I would
Which-
also like to shout out the total flex in the whatever episode it was where he's in handcuffs and he just like tells everyone what to do.
Oh, there we go. Truly hate to walk off on Peter Dinklage's moment.
Oh, I feel like I can't listen. I'm gonna cry. Aww.
Oh.
Could you imagine what it would be like to be part of that cast, though? I mean, what an honor.
Yeah. And to get a role like his.
I mean, Kit Harington's gone out and said like the show's literally given him his future because he met his wife on the show. to deal with the ending of it. I mean, I think Kit Harington went to like rehab or something because he was trying to hide that. Hopefully.
It had a weird middle ground where it was able to be recognized for certain categories, but not like, it's not nominated as Best Drama because it was ineligible for that.
Oh, interesting.
But it was eligible for other things.
So how many episodes have to air for it to be nominated for Best Drama?
6, I think.
6 of them, wow.
I think you need 6 episodes to be a series.
Interesting.
So here we go, writing in a drama series. By the way, when Carm was making our drinks, I just walked back by the kitchen. There is a disaster zone.
Oh, man.
So to answer the earlier question about his bartender license, that's a hard no. So,
Nah.
all right. Is this the category that Succession wins?
Maybe. Nobody ever is ever missing. I think that's the season finale, isn't it? Which was... Yes!
There we go.
Also a fun twist because Cherry Jones, is currently on the 2nd season of Succession.
Interesting.
Yay, Succession!
So here we go. Succession has been honored and acknowledged
There they are.
by the Emmys. Cousin Greg, who looks nothing like Cousin
Gregory?
Greg.
No?
Yes, Gregory.
Gregory.
Who looks nothing like Gregory.
Oh, man.
Who is absolutely who I would be if I was in Succession. So there we go. Succession getting a win.
Getting
Game of
something.
Thrones does not win Best Writing, but HBO still notches a victory.
So why Succession? What makes it watchable? I haven't stepped into it yet.
It's... it's so good. It's, well, this feels reductive considering they just won the Emmy, but like, it's really well written. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, the script is really sharp. It's like brutal and mean. Like they're constantly telling each other to like F off in like new and creative ways, and like the insults are like Veep level. Like they're just like brutal and mean, but also it's about this family that's more or less like the Murdochs, and like they are just like so wealthy and so like, I don't know, like insane, and
Yeah.
just the world that they like live in and the way they move through it is like so absurd, but
So
also
good.
it's just like it's thrilling to watch them be awful to each other.
Yeah.
And it's so good, and it does. People will tell you different things about the first seasons, where I think as like a series it takes a couple episodes to like find itself. But the season finale, which I believe is the episode that they just won for, is really good. And then the 2nd season has been like each episode better than the last, like hit
Wow.
after hit.
Okay.
It's
That's a strong endorsement.
It's like Arrested Development on steroids.
Wow.
It's insane because there's an Arrested Development angle to it.
comparison doesn't make sense.
Which,
to me.
by the way, we just flew through the Best Supporting Actress in a Drama nominees. Like, we flew right into that before
Yeah.
Don Cheadle and Kristen Bell could get onto the stage, which, by the way, a fantastic duo right here. Don Cheadle, who lost earlier tonight in the Best Actor in a Comedy category to Bill Hader. Kristen Bell, who is not nominated. She should be for The Good Place.
Yes.
Oh, so Game of Thrones loses.
Wow.
It's
she was
Best
Jenna Garner
Supporting
was on my
category.
wish list only because I have like grandfathered an affection for her based on The Americans.
Wow.
I haven't seen Ozark, but I've heard she's been doing wonderful.
Wow.
Ozark gets a win.
Over
Another notch for a
Game
streaming
of
service.
Wow, interesting. So I did call this with the Game of Thrones acting categories.
You did. Game of Thrones had
for
4
her.
actresses nominated in Best Supporting Actress for a drama. It wins none of them because we have Julia Garner winning for Ozark. Which, props to Ozark.
She is.
She's fantastic.
Yeah.
So there we go. Game of Thrones. It wins for Peter Dinklage in Supporting Actor. That's the only Emmy it's won so far tonight. And this is supposed to be kind of the coronation of Game of Thrones. The last season's up. We have all these other nominees. This kind of category was the kind of an encapsulation of Game of Thrones night because we have 4 actresses nominated. None of them win. Is this kind of saying something about where Game of Thrones is going to go? I think we can pencil in Best Drama. But what about these other categories? Dinklage was the Stone Cold lock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got Kit Harington. We've got Emilia Clarke.
And like the only way Peter Dinklage was getting upset was by his own.
Yeah.
I think this would be a different story if Game of Thrones season 8 wasn't season 8.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just not perceived well by the
good
by the
point.
audience, and just
And
it left a bad taste in people's mouths.
Oh, good for her. It makes me. It gives me comfort that they didn't just blindly vote Game of Thrones.
Yep.
Like there was an evaluation of the quality of the final season. And like I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Like I don't think it should really affect Game of Thrones like legacy or standing as like one of the greatest shows of all time.
No.
To say that like season 8 wasn't Emmy worthy.
How much stock are we putting in Emmys winning as far as what they mean to the legacy of the show? Because, again, we'll circle back to the most important shows of the last 25 years, which is Mad Men, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, and The Sopranos. And Breaking Bad was the only show that won Best Drama, Best Actor, Best Support. It was a clean sweep. It won everything. The Sopranos, James Gandolfini lost to James Spader. Edie Falco lost to Sally Field for Brother and Sisters, which I didn't know was a show. It won for writing because you're like, oh, it's a well-written show. But so let's say Game of Thrones wins only Best Drama and Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
Is that going to therefore say this wasn't as important of a show because it didn't win the awards?
I don't think so.
No?
I think, I mean, as you just kind of outlined, when you look back on it, the shows that we think of as like the best shows of all time, or we think of as like this high caliber, like TV canon, they always have one less than you thought, or one fewer awards than you thought. So I think it'll feel, you know, especially with like internet hot take cycle, like we're all gonna freak out for a week about what does it mean. But I think long term, big picture, I don't think it's gonna have a bearing.
Also, like, do Sopranos viewers and Breaking Bad viewers, those who want to watch a show about a guy cooking meth, are they watching award shows? Like, I don't know. I don't think
don't
so.
care how many awards Breaking Bad won.
Yeah.
Like it's a whole thing, but it's part of its legacy. Like Mad Men didn't win Best Drama for its last season. The only Emmy that it won, as far as the big ones were concerned, was John Hamm for Best Actor, which you can understand. But you know, you don't think less of that show because it only won 2 Emmys.
Yeah.
I feel like if Game of Thrones doesn't win because the last season was so decisive or divisive, if it doesn't win the Emmys, people are going to say, "See, I told you it sucked."
Right.
And it's like, but that's not the legacy of the show.
No, the show will live on. The legacy's done.
The show will live on.
The show will live on forever.
We just saw an advertisement for an Emilia Clarke Christmas romantic comedy.
Yes.
That is a justification.
What's his face? Henry Golding.
Yep,
on
Henry
board.
Golding.
Yep.
That is slight justification for me for picking her for winning Best Actress in a Drama because
Between very conspiracy theory, and I mean, like, well, there was an ad, so.
Well, between her and Kit Harington, I feel like Emilia Clarke has a more promising film career. She has a more promising career beyond Game of Thrones, which is an incredible statement considering Kit Harington is going to be part of a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
But he's like the C Squad in a B movie for the Marvel universe.
All right, so let's circle back quickly to our next award. We're looking at lead actor in a drama series. which is that Kit Harington,
Harington.
category. But we all feel
Billy
like
Porter.
this is Billy Porter's.
This is Billy
right?
Porter's moment.
If anyone else in that category wins over him, it's
Sterling
A
K.
robbery.
Brown for. If anybody else wins, it's Sterling K. Brown. If nothing other than the Emmys are comfortable in picking things that they know. And Sterling K. Brown is a
Yes.
comfortable pick.
Yeah.
And also not a pick that I would be upset about.
I would be a little upset about it. Again, as someone
Over
like-
Billy Porter, yeah.
As someone that watches This Is Us, and as someone that feels like the last season of This Is Us has begun to like sort of like play its hits, like Sterling K. Brown is an excellent actor, and he delivers those emotions and that sentiment, and like works with what they give him
Yeah.
flawlessly. But also, it's still kind of the same performance it's been the last couple of years, and like yes,
It is.
his character is getting like depth and going in different directions and like becoming more complicated. But I would be bummed if they just handed it off to.
I would too. It's also the same thing though with like Jim Parsons. Like Sheldon never evolved as a character.
Oh.
But the disgust.
That is a great dress.
I am becoming increasingly more upset at the idea of Kit Harington winning this category. So
Yeah.
I don't think you will.
I don't think so.
apologies to the Winter is Coming fam who are watching, but
Yeah, it would be interesting to hear whether the Thrones fans think he is worthy of the award.
no. If it's a situation where you have to pick him or Emilia Clarke, I'm picking Emilia Clarke.
Yeah. I also think giving it to Emilia Clarke is kind of like an apology, or not an apology, but it's like
It's an
we
apology.
all
Sorry
you
about the
did
last
the best
season.
with what they gave you, and no one should have had to deal with that.
All right.
But you did, so here's an Emmy.
Is this our RIP moment?
Oh yeah.
In memoriam.
Prepare internet for your hot takes about who they've forgotten in the in memoriam. This, Halsey gives us a moment.
Curious choice.
Per song?
Yeah.
Both.
And for performer.
Oh,
Performer and song. John Singleton.
the song like weirdly gets me hyped. Like it's not an in memoriam song to me.
I'm like, I'm gonna run through a brick wall
like a
for
karaoke
Jean-Michel
song.
Vicente.
Chug that vodka.
Oh, wow. All right.
Oh.
Cameron Boyce. So this is another kind of grinding to a halt moment in the night, which seems a little unfair because it's an in memoriam. We're supposed to be honoring these people who have given us such joy over the years. I always feel like the Oscars in memoriam is a little bit more effective than the Emmys.
Probably.
Tim Conway is who I was thinking of when Bob Newhart rolled out there in the wax figure. I was like, uh-oh. I was like, which one was it?
This is always hard because you don't know how long this is going on for.
Yeah. Bob Einstein from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Penny Marshall. Interesting. Luke Perry.
Aw.
Stan Lee getting a shout out. Rip Torn. the Larry Sanders Show fame. All right, so they end the in memoriam on Carol Channing. I don't know if this was necessarily in chronological order.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was like, you never know what the order is, how it's going.
Yeah.
Where to gauge it.
Halsey is having her moment. It's like, my God, you have youth on your side, Halsey. Let these dead people have their moment. The Emmys, their final moment. So we are going to be moving swiftly into Best Actor in a Drama Series. What would be the most surprising name that they could say if they were to come up there for Best Actor in a Drama? What name on this list of nominees would you be like, oh, really?
At this point, I'm starting to think it'd be the one I picked, Milo.
I think it is him. I think that's the most.
Yeah, This Is Us didn't really make a showing tonight, so.
Like Better Call Saul is like Prestige. Kit Harington is Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Jason Bateman is like Ozark and also the Prestige. Billy Porter is the hard favorite. Sterling K. Brown is the historical pick. Like,
I think I made an oopsie.
but also like in your heart.
Yeah, right.
That's what I would say all night.
I just went with this red carpet look, you know? Whatever.
I am very much in the Billy Porter corner, but Bob Odenkirk winning. Because I just wonder, when is his moment? When is the Bob Odenkirk moment? Because he's given us Saul in Breaking Bad. He's given us Saul in Better Call Saul. He's given us he's given us Mr. Show, he's given us Larry Sanders Show, he's given us a ton of stuff over the years. He wrote on SNL in the mid-90s.
Wow.
When is Bob Odenkirk's moment?
I think it's his next show.
Okay,
I don't
interesting.
think he wins. Not that he shouldn't. I don't think he wins anything for Better Call Saul.
Okay.
And I think he gets another show, and it's maybe not as good, or it is whatever it is, and the Academy is kind of like, whoops, here.
Here.
Remember that one time you were almost Michael Scott? Here you go. Okay, so Bob Odenkirk, Kit Harington, Jason Bateman, Billy Porter, Sterling K. Brown, and Milo, who I would refer to as just his first name. He's in the upper echelon of Prince and single name people. Ventimiglia. Also, I am intimidated by his last name. Ventimiglia.
I wrote his name out phonetically on my ballot, just in case.
It's Milo, and like for a while I had it wrong in my head.
As Milo?
What?
As Milo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought it was Milo.
But it's not. You're
No,
right.
it's Milo.
Milo V.
Which I get more hung up on the Milo than I do on the Ventimiglia. Like,
Yeah.
it's fine. Like, I don't have a problem with that. Like,
All right, we have
That's
a Emmys Would You Rather in the comments.
Ooh, yeah.
Here we go.
Would you rather walk the carpet with the love of your life, only to find out the next day they're a serial cheater and all the pictures are now tainted? Or walk the carpet with someone you thought you were keeping it casual with who proposes in public and you have to say no? These are
I would just like to say
some wild.
that the first scenario proposed was lived by Sandra Bullock, who walked the red carpet with Jesse James at the Oscars that she won for the Blind Side. And it turned out like 5 days later, he's like, guess what? I'm a serial cheater. And all these pictures are tainted.
I think I would go serial cheater and the tainted photos because at least that's not a social situation I have to live in the moment. Like,
the proposal's rough.
Would be so uncomfortable. Because you either have to say no, or you say yes, and then afterwards be like, actually, no.
Yeah.
Like, that's all so bad.
Just turn it into a shtick. You know, this was all planned. We're just going to make it a joke and walk off the stage.
I don't have that kind of instincts, or like, I would rather be like, well, these photos are a lot.
Was it last year's Emmys or Oscars? Somebody proposed in their acceptance
Yeah.
speech. What was that? Was it the Emmys? Or the Golden Globes, maybe? I just remember.
It was the Golden Globes, I want to say.
She said yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank God. She said yes, man. But that was
It might have been the Emmys, and they riffed on it at the Golden Globes.
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the
Nice.
walking the red carpet, the serial cheater, and the pictures are therefore tainted is almost like a normal thing in Hollywood.
It happens.
So I'm sure that It's happened plenty of times before.
I'm sure you got a couple photos
Close,
alone.
like photos with your ex. And,
Yeah.
Like they're not on stage with you when
No, I mean, you delete them from Instagram when that happens, but it's like, I've never also won an award and been like, oh boy. Column A or column B.
Yeah. I think I move pretty easily in the.
Yeah, public proposals
Serial
are just stupid in general.
Yeah.
Like, if you're watching this and you're planning on proposing at a stadium, don't. With a capital D underline. Just don't do that. So I was at a Cubs
Unless
game.
the person you're proposing to has expressly and said, I would like to be proposed to at a live sporting event
Even
or a
then,
live anything.
it's like, oh, I don't want to involve thousands of people in this moment.
Yeah, but if the person like specifically says like this is my dream, like
And I would be like, if that's their dream, I'd be like, and this ring is for another person. So I was at a Cubs game the other week, and somebody proposed,
Ooh.
and all it was on the video screen. Not like the video proposed, but it was like,
Oh, yeah,
happy
just like the
birthday,
words
Sandy.
down
It was
below.
like, will you marry me, Sue? And I was like,
Yeah, right? Too risky.
all right, here we go. What do we got next?
We've got best actor.
Come on, Bob. All right, best actor in a drama.
Wow, they're moving through these
Milo,
swiftly
we
now.
got Bob Odenkirk, we got Jason Bateman, Sterling K. Brown, Kit Harington, and our
Let's
consensus
give it to
favorite,
Billy.
Billy Porter. Please, if for nothing other than the acceptance speech.
Wow.
And there we go, Billy Porter and his hat and his suit and his acceptance speech are coming up to the stage.
Yeah,
This
gonna be
is
good.
a capital M moment.
Oh,
Yes,
oh, and their
the excitement.
pants.
Much glam.
I know, it's so good.
Billy Porter, he has defeated the King of the North for
yay.
Best Actor in a Drama Series. Which, if you're not
This is
watching
good.
Pose, this is a good moment to
Good reminder.
go ahead and watch that, because it's a great show.
Oh,
This is great.
I need to see who dressed him.
It is pretty phenomenal that you have your Emmys moment, and you're literally glistening
Yeah.
on stage. Oof. It's just everything. It's the hat, it's the nails, it's the suit.
It's a $72,000 diamond-studded crystal suit.
Oh!
Okay. Oh, it's Michael Kors.
Own your moment. This is a fantastic suit for being like, this is peak me. This is my moment.
Yeah.
I'm owning it. I am shining on
170
stage.
hours it took to hand embroider.
it's also a great speech.
God, I love it. And it was a fantastic speech. So there you go. Billy Porter, he wins Best
Yes.
Actor in a Drama. He beats Kit Harington from Game of Thrones, who wasn't a heavy favorite, but was the consensus favorite if you halfway pay attention to these things. Game of Thrones shut out for the most part, unless you consider Peter Dinklage, who was a shoo-in.
What are we are moving swiftly into
This
directing
is
for a
directing,
series.
which Game of Thrones, I feel like will win for The Long Night.
Yeah.
Shay, Alex?
I think it's The Long Night. I think that was just, it was, you know, the sort of Hallmark battle episode that everyone made a huge deal of.
And it's the last battle episode for Game of Thrones.
I liked the episode. You know, I didn't have a problem with
Yeah.
it until everyone started complaining on Twitter. People just wanted something to complain about.
I did think it was very dark, though. But I don't think that's a directing issue.
Yeah, exactly.
Could you imagine being up at the stage presenting an Emmy and your face is on a promo on television at the same time?
Well, that's the point.
What a
That's
time to be
Brittany
alive.
Snow's life right now. Jason Bateman.
He directed something?
We have another
What's
upset. Game of Thrones does not win Best Directing.
Interesting.
Ozarks wins Best Directing. Another win for Netflix. Another win for streaming. Another
Aw.
L for Game of Thrones on what is supposed to be its coronation night.
So did they get the 3 they needed?
Not yet. Because we've only had one Game of Thrones win. We've had Peter Dinklage, and that's it.
Yeah.
So we're still waiting for the 2. We'll pencil in Best Drama, but things are getting a little dicey.
Yeah, I don't know anymore.
If you
they
put
will
money
have to
on
own
this,
the record from their own previous owning of the record.
it's as
They will get
though
to break their own record.
it's as though the Emmys mailed in the last batch of nominations for Game of Thrones the way that Game of Thrones mailed in its last handful of episodes. So, Jason Bateman too. Good moment for Jason Bateman.
I like him as a person, so I'm okay
Yeah.
with this.
It is a bold strategy, Cotton. So. So Ozarks wins for Best Directing. I feel like we were at a consensus that Game of Thrones shouldn't win for Best Writing, which it did not.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, I don't want to say that the clock's ticking on Game of Thrones, but
I mean, I feel much better about the odds of somebody else winning Best Drama.
same.
It doesn't feel
The
like
sands
it's
of time slipping
Yeah.
through.
Game of Thrones.
No.
Here we go. We are into Best Actress in a Drama Series. This is Emilia Clarke's category. This could be one of the remaining 2 that Game of Thrones needs. Although SNL did win 2 Emmys tonight, so I think the goalpost has moved a little bit.
Right, but for a drama series. It's different.
Emilia Clarke, there she is.
Also, I'd be really curious to hear what her acceptance speech would be, because like would she like dodge around the fact that it was a garbage arc? And, like, she had
Please
all
be
those like,
meta.
scenes where like, she was on like red carpets and stuff, being like,
Sandra Oh for Killing Eve, which if you're not watching that, shame on you.
Yes.
all right, quick takes. Who you got?
I put Sandra Oh.
I think I'm gonna go Emilia.
I have Emilia, but my heart wants Sandra Oh. Laura Linney is involved here.
This could go anyway, I think. I'm very conflicted.
This is a very tight, if not
Yeah.
unexciting category, because as Gwyneth Paltrow
Is
comes
Gwyneth
out.
Paltrow she's like top tier out of touch celebrity, right?
Oh yeah.
Out of touch?
Yeah. Big
Like
time.
she doesn't even realize the movies that she's been in.
Yes.
Does she know where she is right now? And I say this with envy. Like,
I wonder how many times she's made references to the movie she's been in and not known she's making reference.
Oh!
Here we go.
Wow.
Jodie Comer wins.
That's amazing.
She is fantastic on Killing Eve. She
Yes.
wasn't
Oh,
nominated
no,
last
it's-
year.
Yeah.
She wins this year.
Wow.
Also, they're clearly, like, she and Phoebe Waller-Bridge must be pals, because she kept jumping up when Fleabag was winning earlier, and...
So we have yet another upset tonight. Game of Thrones is bleeding Emmys. If you have bet on Game of Thrones, if you bet the over...
that's also like the role of a lifetime, though, for her.
It is incredible.
Oh, Phoebe, I love you.
Here we go. So a big night of big upsets so far. Sandra Oh lost in this category to her co-star, but she is all about this moment. Sandra Oh has been here, she's done this before, and Killing Eve's streak continues.
I feel bad I didn't give her any credit. I just thought if Killing Eve were to take it, it'd be Sandra.
Yeah, I thought it would be Sandra, too.
What is going on? Drama seems like a lock because that seems to be the thank you category, but Kit Harington is lost, Emilia Clarke is lost, Peter Dinklage won, but we did have 4 actresses lose in the supporting actress category. Didn't win for writing, didn't win for directing. Bad night for Game of Thrones. But it wasn't a particularly good season, so we can't be totally shocked.
Wow.
And away
All right.
we
we got 2 more
go.
awards.
I'm like, do I need to make adjustments? No, I'm sticking with Fleabag for best comedy.
I do have Fleabag circled, and I have Game of Thrones circled.
Yeah.
I had beat before the night began, but now I'm all in on Fleabag.
Yeah.
Fleabag had a very strong first 45 minutes of the show. Haven't heard a lot of it since, but we haven't also dealt with a lot of the comedy.
So we've also been into the drama category.
Different things. HBO has had
category problem.
HBO has had a decent night, but it hasn't had a great night for Game of Thrones. It's had Chernobyl, which has won a lot of things. But Game of Thrones, quite shocking here. How, on a scale of 1 to 10, how stunned are we that Game of Thrones is having as bad of a night as it's having? Because it's
I'm a little surprised.
pretty stinky.
Yeah. Pleasantly,
I'd give
maybe.
myself like I don't hate it, but I would say I'm at like a 7 or 8 on the surprise.
Yeah. I feel like I'm going to change my best drama pick. I don't think it's going to be Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Not be shocking if Game of Thrones, I mean, it would be shocking, but historically, Mad Men did not win for its final season.
Yeah.
Instead, the 5th season of Game of Thrones won, which kind of prompts a conversation of, that was arguably when Game of Thrones was at the peak of its powers. The season that we just saw, the season that was nominated, was not good.
Yeah.
It wasn't well received. Fans hated it. Critics were like, we kind of rushed this. We didn't do a lot. And we're kind of seeing that reflected in Kit Harington didn't win. Emilia Clarke didn't win. Peter Dinklage did win, but he's a legacy pick. If Game of Thrones doesn't win, and I know we kind of asked this before, but for the late arrivers to the stream, what do you want to see win in Best Drama if it's not Game of Thrones?
Well, you know my answer, and it's only gotten stronger each time you ask this question. It's Post.
Yes.
I'm going to say Killing Eve now. That just got me so
Killing
stoked
Eve,
on
that's a good
it.
pick.
I've got it.
Yeah.
Good pick. Alex, you've got Fleabag in Best Comedy.
Yeah.
So do I. Shay, what do you have?
I'm on Fleabag too.
Fleabag. Let's go for it. Phoebe Waller-Bridge had a big night. She wins Best Actress in a Comedy. She wins for her writing. 2 things. She's very deservedly winning, or deservedly so winning. I'm not seeing a lot of things here that I'm like not okay with.
Yeah.
No.
We've got Chernobyl wins for Best Limited Series. Jared Harris doesn't win for Best Actor in a limited series, but that is kind of when the Emmys honor when they see us. Everything seems to be checked off here, which leads me to believe that Game of Thrones is going to win Best Drama.
You think?
But
Well, it's gonna be what was the Golden Globes buzzkill of like Bohemian Rhapsody winning weight, where it's like they had this amazing night of like everyone that should win was winning, and it was just like all like yes, it was like feel good, it was right, and then it was like all right, time for the big ones, and it was just like oh yeah, you guys, you did what we all thought you were gonna do. So I could see Game of Thrones taking the wind out of our sails of
Yeah.
all this. But I don't know. It doesn't seem like Game of Thrones tonight.
It's not, which is stunning considering the fact that this was supposed to be kind of the celebration of Game of Thrones,
Yes.
this pillar of quote-unquote golden age television. Hasn't won a lot of Emmys, not terribly upset by that, but we'll see. We haven't got to Best Drama yet. Best Comedy is still ahead of us. Again, the show's not well known for its acting. It's not well known for its writing. The only real surprise, I would say, with Game of Thrones is that it didn't win Best Directing.
Yes.
That was a little bit of a shock to me. But again, not at the peak of its powers.
And it does make you wonder, I mean, I don't know how easily accessible it is. I feel like sometimes they reveal sort of how the votes split. But things like the writing, the directing categories, or the supporting actress category, did they harm themselves by splitting the vote? Where it was they had 3 or 4 episodes nominated in the directing category.
Yeah.
Did people get confused or forget like which one was like The Long Night or which one was either like simple or just like genuinely someone thought a different one was better directed than the other? How much did they suffer by like over submitting?
There's a little oversaturation, something that Winter's Coming editor Dan Selke was tremendously afraid of, and it seems like his nightmare is playing out. So thoughts and prayers, Selke. Here we go. We've got 2 Emmys left to give. What will they be? Will they be Game of Thrones and Veep, the 2 legacy shows, to say thank you for all that you have done? Or will we have something else win and say this is the new era of television?
Give me Fleabag, give me Pose, give me the future.
Give me anything other than Game of Thrones. Here we go. Barry, Fleabag, The Good Place, which will win next year, The Marvelous Miss Maisel, which won earlier tonight, Russian Doll, which won nothing, Schitt's Creek, which is hilarious, and Veep,
Dun, dun, dun.
which is R.I.P.
Schitt's Creek and yeah.
There we go, Fleabag wins. It is a fantastic evening for Fleabag and Phoebe Waller-Bridge. She has won Best Writing. She has won Best Actress.
Best
and now
Emmys ever.
her show has won Best Comedy.
Where's the hot priest?
Oh, there he is.
There's the hot priest. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who's going to be all over your feeds and your winners and losers lists tomorrow. You're going to see her a lot.
Get on board.
So, Fleabag wins over Veep. That, not as big of an upset as Game of Thrones losing, but does this set the table for Game of Thrones losing Best Drama?
Yes.
I think it does, yeah. I feel like,
Give it to Fleabag again.
right.
Just roll him back out.
Fleabag also,
like, guess what?
Also a drama.
We have a late entry to the Best Drama category.
Oh.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge having a moment. Fleabag wins Best Comedy.
I want to go home and watch it again.
It's been an interesting, and this is more personal, but it's been an interesting Phoebe Waller-Bridge year for me because I watched, she was in Solo, she voiced the droid in Solo. I got to the 2nd and 3rd season of Broadchurch, which she is in, and now she's Fleabag, and there's all of this, and this is a big Phoebe Waller-Bridge year.
Well, if you want to carry it out, Crashing is on Netflix.
And
Her
Crashing,
6-episode
yes.
Which I
series
also
where
discovered, and
they're
I was like,
property
damn.
wardens, they live in a hospital, it's amazing.
So Phoebe Waller-Bridge is our big winner of Emmy night. I like this. I like this eclectic mix of things where we all expected Game of Thrones to win tonight, and Game of Thrones has not won much. Nor has anything that's really won Emmys before. The Marvelous Miss Maisel won a few things, but it didn't really carry the evening.
Yeah.
Happy about that.
I was a real concerned. Which, like, again, we've talked about it a couple times now, but like,
Oh, Phoebe, have your moment.
yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
Thank you, Phoebe. Aww.
this is great.
Who's inspired to go out and write an award-winning TV show?
Right, let's do this.
So there we go. Phoebe Waller-Bridge wins. Billy Porter was he's become the first openly gay man to win an Emmy Award, according to my phone app. So there we go. The AP has sent me one.
The category or
Yes,
at all?
to win in Best Actor.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say, because I feel like
Yeah. I was like,
We've got a
really?
lot of categories in the Emmys. So. Michael Douglas has rolled out of the crypt to tell us what the best drama
wow,
is.
brutal.
It's not going
I've
to
seen him
be
look
his
better.
show. The Academy better be listening for movies because the makeup category for Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Alright.
Here we go. Better Call Saul, Killing Eve, Game of Thrones, Ozark, Pose, Succession.
I do
This
love
is
Succession.
us, and this is the moment of the night.
Killing Eve. Come on.
Yeah.
Game of
Oh,
Thrones
wow.
wins for its final
They
season.
did it.
It's garbage final
no,
season.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
At least we didn't get any, clips of people lip syncing before we win an
Yeah.
award for acting. Here we go. Brand the Broken is
It's
coming up.
okay.
There's Sam. There's
We all, yeah.
everybody.
This is the trade-off, right? Where it's like this happens, so we get Fleabag.
We get
Yeah.
Fleabag, and we get to honor
I'm
Game
okay.
of Thrones.
It was an amazing TV show.
And so I feel, I don't know. I think all the other Best Drama nominees, they're gonna come back. They're gonna be back
Right.
better, stronger. Pose's second season was amazing.
Mhm.
Succession second season was amazing. Like
Better Call Saul will be back.
Mhm.
Like
yeah.
This is fine.
Benioff and Weiss are on the stage.
This is our dues. This is like the Dorian Gray portrait of awards.
And this is also the
Not all the
culmination
ugliness
of. So, Endgame comes out this year, and the most emotional part of Endgame isn't everybody dying. It's the fact that we started this journey in 2008, and it has culminated here. Same thing with Game of Thrones. We started this basically a decade ago. Not us, as we established, but lots of people have started this journey a decade ago, and it's really come to an end. This is the end of this era on this stage right here, and this is also kind of the end of an era in golden television. The Mad Men's, The Sopranos, The Breaking Bads, The Game of Thrones are finished.
Oh, just stick a fork in my heart. They're done.
Bye.
Well, there's George R. R. Martin on stage, who is clearly not writing Winds of Winter, so come on, man.
What are you doing here?
Benioff and Weiss are moving on to the Star Wars universe after this and taking a hard detour from their Civil War show, which was a bad idea.
Moving in a different direction.
They're just going to go to space. And also, this is not the end of Game of Thrones, because as we established, there's prequels coming, and the Golden Globes are going to be a thing, and Game of Thrones is going to make many appearances there. So this is not the final honoring of Game of Thrones. It's just the final honoring of the Television Academy. When you guys think of Game of Thrones,
I always forget that that's Amanda Pete's husband.
Amanda Pete, that's right. When you guys think of Game of Thrones, so 10 years down the road, somebody's going to be like, hey, have you seen Game of Thrones? And you're going to be like, yes. What's the first scene or moment that comes to your mind when you think of Game of Thrones?
Ooh, I don't know. It's gonna be a positive memory. I feel like I have nothing but great vibes from it. Even
Hey, and we're done.
We're done.
That's it. 2 minutes over time. Which is frankly basically ending early for entertainment.
That's true.
Show.
10:02. We are done. Game of Thrones did not win big outside of Best Drama. Fleabag did win big. As we
Amazing.
finish up this show, Alex and Shay, what are your biggest takeaways tomorrow that you're going to tell people about from watching the Emmys?
Times are changing. We're getting recognition for things we never did before. I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, I feel thrilled about Fleabag, and I feel thrilled about it both on like the very literal level of like this is a show I liked and it won some awards, so that was great. But also just, you know, like Alex said, like the context of like how it was produced, the sort of like cast and like what we know about like the production of it and the behind the scenes elements, as well as like it was kind of like under the radar a little bit, and like it yet, you know, it broke through, and like hopefully this means that it's going to get even wider now. So that ruled. And then yeah, the other big takeaway was like, I mean, it found its legs a little bit later, but man, if you're gonna go no host, it's gotta be tight. You gotta get the right presenters, and you gotta give them good stuff. You gotta like write to their strengths. Like you can't just like throw weird bits at people. Like that's no good.
That's true. We learned from the Oscars. So the Emmys next year, do better. But for Alex, for Shay, I'm Josh. Check out fansided.com tomorrow. We're gonna have all of the fallout that you want from the Emmys, whether it's Billy Porter, whether it's Fleabag, whether it is Game of Thrones. Check out Winter is Coming. It's also Friends Week. We have the Friends video. Alex put together a fantastic.
Yeah.
Coming out this week. And we will be back for the Oscars later, and we'll be back for the Golden Globes. This is not going to be the last that you see of us, but it's the last that you see of us from the Emmys. So, for Shay, for Alex, and for myself, we bid you adieu and good night.
Good night.